Why, hello everybody, and welcome to Adventures in Alberon. This is a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons real play campaign where I design complex encounters utilizing homebrew and all kinds of cool things, and then all of my monsters get banished or stunned. I'm Joe Treff. I'm going to be your DM for tonight, as I always am. Joining me this evening around the table, we have Matt, Miles, Allie, and Tina, who are all playing... Oh man, that was rough.
That was a rough beginning.
So rough.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I heard the music and I thought Tina was fizzing. And I was like, what? You didn't even have one.
Tina does fizz from time to time.
From time to time.
But here, I'll give you, Allie, your favorite thing. So, so we have Matt, who is playing Gunter, the Dwarven Cleric. Miles is playing Heinrich, the Hexblade Tiefling Warlock. We have Allie, who is playing Morwen, the swashbuckling Tabaxi Rogue. And Tina, who is playing the mysterious human Zinyi Monk Shay. And I'm going to play everybody else.
I did not. I forgot.
Oh, yes, this is just for you. A couple of announcements before we really get started. There's actually quite a few announcements, so just a little bit of patience. In terms of our followers and stuff, we had a bunch more this week, so we're only 9 people away. Very, very close to getting to 100. When we get to that, we have a hand-crocheted dice bag/box. It's a Zinni Reliquary dice bag, we will call it, that is made by Tina, and it represents one of the items that's in our game. It's like really beautiful. You can see the actual pattern work that's within it. It is going to come complete with a set of dice from @dicey_encounters on Instagram. Drew is making a set that is representative of the Zinni Monastery. Super, super cool. And they're going to be made, some of the first dice ever coming out of the new sets of molds that he just got that are they're sharp edge molds. I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty cool.
Well, these are rounded, so I'd assume those are...
Yeah, much finer edges. So that's going to be pretty cool. You could win those if you are a follower when we get to 100 people. You are entered already. We also are next week not going to be having a regular Adventures in Alberon. It will not be episode 11. Instead, will be a one-shot. Matt will be joining us. Tina will be joining us. I believe my friend Hisham will be joining us. We have one more person. I'm going to confirm that tomorrow, and so we'll know. We'll announce it on Instagram. This one-shot is entitled Fugue, and it's a cool concept. September 13th, we are back for episode 11. And then on September, I want to say 20th, there is going to be another one-shot that is very special and is created in large part from the community that is all of you guys. I asked a couple people for a couple of sentences, and then we went on from there. I'll explain more once we get a little closer to the date. We also have an official campaign artist. So Frederica Volova, Frederica Draws on Twitch, and @Frederica_Volova on Instagram. Really, really cool art style. There will be weekly art coming from some of the cool things that happen within the campaign. So super cool, really awesome thing that we're able to do. If you follow us on Instagram, you've already seen some of the character portraits that have been done. So definitely check that out. Other than that, the last announcement that I have is that we have Sirenscape. So if you hear some music and some sound effects, that is all coming from Sirenscape, which is a cool digital tool set for dungeon masters, players, or if you really like to hear tropical jungles while you fall asleep. All great uses of that tool.
Or people fighting in a bar.
Or people fighting in a bar.
And you can mix the two.
You can. You can make somebody go, oh, again and again and again.
Yeah.
Coffee shop background noise today.
There you go. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You can do starships. You can do all kinds of things. I don't know if it's a kink, but anyways. I believe that's everything for the announcements. So, getting into a little bit of a recap. When we last played, all of you discovered the source of the monstrous footsteps that you were hearing. Coming through the jungle, through the rain, you were faced with an Etten, and later, an Ogre Magi. A very difficult fight if it weren't for the fact that Gunter banished the Etten. Everybody...
Much to your chagrin.
Yes. I mean, it's my own fault for not thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then Shay stunned the Ogre Magi, meaning that they basically got one attack off each. Combined with a monstrous DPS effort from Heinrich, Both were pretty easily
That's how it
filled.
looks too.
Yeah, it was just like this
Like,
again.
like,
like
like the
contributed.
cuts are more just like ripping the skin sideways at the blade. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm just nah.
I contributed. I poked him in the butt.
You did.
You did.
Well, you missed the butt.
Well,
Hey, Tom.
Don't embarrass me in front of our fans.
Yeah.
The butt.
So, you guys managed to come through that combat for the most part unscathed. A few of you, a couple spell slots, worse for wear. You managed to figure out the puzzle after a pretty lengthy amount of time. Once the door opened up, Mormon was able to roll under, and then Gunter promptly broke the puzzle, causing the door to slam shut. Mormon used this time to hide herself in hopes of surprising whoever walked through the door. These hopes were in vain. You guys enter the temple discovering that it was a temple of cord to the different elements within a storm. You guys remembered Ovark saying that a storm is more than just wind and water. He translated for you the Draconic that is written within the temple itself and showed that each pedestal is representative of a different element. You guys wandered through the hallways, found a spa, a salon kind of building.
nice chill room.
Nice little chill room.
Chill room.
Not really functional in that moment. However,
Not-
you guys all found it. You also found the room of water eventually. Rushing rapids leading across
Water
multiple
temple, man.
pools that leads to a series of long spikes that Gunter eventually ended up skewered on. However, before that, you guys made a pretty decent effort to get up to the sphere itself. However, Morwen and Gunter quite literally dropped the ball, sending it cascading into the rushing rapids, which Gunter promptly just dove into, skewering himself and nearly drowning. Morwen, you were nice enough to rescue him with the help of Thistle and Ovark. As this was happening, Heinrich and Shay, you guys utilizing a very clever series of strings
I
and,
grew up on the
and
docks, man. I know pulleys. and
yeah,
shit.
no, using simple machines, you were able to generate enough mechanical advantage to lift this 400-pound stone. As a group, you managed to get this thing across the very narrow walkway, not succumbing to any of the traps. You managed to get the stone across the first sort of chasm, and as we ended last session, you guys were hoisting it into the actual receiver itself. So you guys can see you are all gathered around that thing. Ovark, the dragonborn cleric with the brittle scales, and Thistle, the very large furbolg who doesn't do a whole lot but hug, do a
And
major
lift.
and lift.
And
do-
lift.
do-
He
get high.
pulls his weight. That's
He
why
does.
he's around.
And quite literally, he is doing so now. Him and Ovark do the majority of the work, but all of you pitching in gradually and getting this stone up, you manage to roll it across onto the pedestal, and it just sinks in. And you see the small runes, which were lit slightly before, suddenly flare to life and go out. There's a moment that passes, and you begin to see geometrically small blue lines appear on the side of the pedestal that lead down to the floor. They travel and seem to go to that large stone that's in the middle, but nothing else seems to happen. Actually, could everybody roll a perception check, please?
Oh, bitch.
Tan.
10,
Classic.
22.
22, 12,
28.
28. Look at that. All right. So,
Surprise!
Surprise!
the two of you catching your breath, you are very old, you are very young. This is a lot of effort, and you kind of take a moment to regather yourselves. The two of you here outside in like the dim, it is close to 1 a.m. at this point, so it's dark. It is still raining pretty good. And actually, let me pull up something a little bit more appropriate for where we are. Don't worry, the music will stay.
Can that be the song, like when we do something good?
You want? Okay. Sure.
No, I want it more often. Do something else.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's one time in the campaign so far. So you would hear that outside, over the rain and everything else that you hear, just very, very dimly, the bubbling of water, and it sounds as if the fountain is turned on. Shay, you can hear just distantly in that hallway that you guys came from, within that room that contained a pool and some kind of like a hot tub sort of deal, all of a sudden just flowing water. And you guys can kind of gather as you put these stones into place, this place will change.
Right. So basically the challenge is that we're plumbers fixing this place for someone to come take a bath, right?
Perhaps?
Cool.
So does that mean Well, first of all, when
Well,
that happens, I'm gonna go next. But
Fair enough.
should we think about the order of these operations?
I don't think it would matter.
Going to roll a history check.
And while he's doing that, just quick, that stone in the center, is it elevated or is it just sunken into the floor?
Maybe about like 2 inches, but
Okay.
very much
So
not.
it's like a low
14.
dais.
Similar to the one that was in the Fist Hall in
Unless it's
Portquin.
about stone, 14.
Okay, it is not about stone.
Okay.
You recall during your time in a previous occupation, typically religious structures of Cord are laid out in a very particular way. You know that his, not obsession, but definite preference to strength in a variety of ways would lead to most of the building being accessible through force. However, not using force, there is probably a very predictable route that you will find out. Most of the temples that you've been in seem circular or otherwise sort of a circuit.
Okay. Nope, we should just keep on moving.
So the water temple, there is another. It was a Y, right?
Yep, and
Where
you guys
it
went
shows
right
that door.
to
Yeah.
the water. If you guys
We
want to
gotta
go left,
Oh
now.
wait, hold
We're
on.
going left.
No, but right wasn't that?
you
Oh,
guys
there
went
was
right
the
to
spa
to another
thing,
Y.
and,
Yeah.
and there was the ballroom.
Yes.
Okay.
The ballroom.
Aw.
Let's find every ballroom.
I grab you and we dance.
Very awkwardly.
But I dance beautifully.
Very stiff.
I kind of like, go, okay, all right, strong guys, let's go. And I just be like,
All right.
Ovark immediately responds and
Yeah.
kind of just walks up to
Yeah.
where you are.
Yeah.
All right, let's get going.
yeah.
And Thistle kind of stands there for a little bit, and then,
Well, I mean, if you,
oh, me.
yeah, the lift, and you're really good at that. I appreciate that about you.
Thanks. I've never really heard that before.
Yeah.
Most people just say that I'm good at picking up berries and things.
Yeah.
I am
And I'm gonna
pretty good
shout,
at that.
"Isn't Thistle amazing?"
He's okay. Let's go.
So you guys set off?
Yeah.
All right. You guys go into the stone hallway, and where you had gone right previously, you turn left. Who is in front, or what is the marching order, I
I
guess?
would have let
I think I grabbed
Either-
her to go up front with me.
Okay, so
either
the two of you.
Gunter. Oh, you're going first. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I
I think I
assumed our
start out
dancing.
first, but
Okay.
I lose the lead.
Uh-huh.
The hallways themselves are about 10 feet wide, so you could put two people next to each other if you wanted.
I feel like Gunter would have started out, but
But
I feel like Morwen would have dragged us.
Well, we could do little
25.
pirouettes
Yeah.
and spinnies to slow our pace.
I'll slow down and kind of just do a rear guard.
Okay. Thistle is mostly following you at this point, now that you said strong guys, let's go.
Strong guys.
Ovark is going to try to be in the lead. You guys standing across won't, he won't be able to pass you without like barging through. But you sense that he kind of gets right up behind you. He's very much like tailgating you. Progressing forward.
She's the tail. I get it.
Yeah. You walk about 50 feet down this hallway, and you see off to your right there are 3 doorways, but as you pass, they all seem to lead to dead ends. This seems to be designed. Make an intelligence check.
11.
11? It seems like perhaps at some point maybe these served a decorative function of some kind, or maybe there are alcoves for idols, but given the amount of time that's passed, there isn't really anything left in there.
Shay, do you think there's anything left in this?
Looks like a place.
So Shay, you guys continue to walk, but after these 3 doorways, another 10 feet go by, and you begin to smell, especially you,
He always does, though.
the scent of soot and ash and hot metal, reminiscent maybe of a forge. And a couple seconds go by, and echoing through the hallway, you do hear just a real loud clang.
I stop. And proceed, I want to go, I'm going to go snuck.
I'm heading
Okay,
towards that.
make a stealth check. Just walking right down. Okay. You and Ovark immediately proceed down the hallway,
17.
I'll continue along, but slowly.
like 5 feet back from them.
A little farther back.
Okay. 10, 15.
10.
Sure.
This one smells
Probably in
like
between.
fire.
Okay. So the way that I'm seeing this right now, we have Gunter and Ovark, about 10 feet, 15 feet back. We have Heinrich. Between them is you. And then you are just in the back. Yours.
I'll say like middle-ish but snuck.
Okay. You,
Sneaking in the middle.
okay. You, with your passive perception of 17, do see Morwen kind of dip down into the corner. The lights aren't on. There's no light source that you guys have, so it is
I'm
quite
still
dark.
holding a torch. But
Yeah. Okay, so then you do have a little bit of light, and you see Morwen just kind of duck down to the side. She does almost kind of disappear. Her fur just blends into the stone very naturally. That's a good rule of thumb, Talon. So, with this in mind, as you approach, you being sort of towards the front, you would come across this thing first.
Will you pass me a coaster when you get a second shot?
Huh?
Will you pass me a coaster behind you when you get a chance?
I can't really see them, so it's sort of a blind reach.
Yeah.
Do I have one? No. I
Feel
don't
it
have
out.
Wallet.
Feel
It's
it out.
under the wallet. Yeah, there you
Wallet.
one. Look at that dex check
No,
right
give
there.
me the wallet. I'll use that.
Oh,
Got any
okay,
hundos for my beer?
so, for just a little bit of a visual,
classy.
You know, we like those.
you do.
Is this with the pens?
You want to clear off the...
If you guys want to.
These with the nice pens, Joe?
No, this is before that. It's still better than most of my maps because I'm getting just better slowly. Because that's what happens with practice. Everybody practice. So, unless you don't know how to draw people and then just hire a campaign artist like we did. So,
Is this a rip or is it supposed to be?
No.
it's a rip because I cut a little too far when I was cutting off
No,
something
fair
else.
enough. I was just double checking.
So the room itself, as you look into it, it's this lopsided quadrilateral.
This door?
Yes, that would be the one that you guys would be stepping through. If you want to position
Oh.
Ovark and Gunter near there, they're the only two at the door at the moment. You see that there are long metal brackets that hang along the ceiling, which in and of itself is only about 10 feet high. Off of these brackets, there are these long, almost meat hook-like devices, but hanging off of them isn't meat. There are swords, there are rapiers, there are shields, there are helmets, all different implements of death and protection. You can see beyond these weapons, they hang almost like a curtain, just steel hanging off of the ceiling. And it appears to all be iron. Beyond all that, you see both fountain and forge. Fountain off to the left a little bit, and it is at this point bubbling now. The forge itself does appear to be lit and hot, quite hot. You can feel, even from the doorway, the temperature is greatly increased within. Through the smoke and the soot, you do feel yourself begin to perspire, but all of this is kind of seen out of the periphery of your vision, because in the middle, there is a hulking figure, metallic and humanoid from the waist up, in that it has a torso. The torso itself is made of metal, and seems to have this large door that might slide down on its chest. It has this elongated, sort of almost like a metallic snout, but you see two organic eyes, bloodshot, kind of just rolling and twitching in different directions as it regards you. From the waist down, it is quite different looking. It has 6 metallic legs, almost like spiders or scorpions. Even with these legs bent, it probably stands about 10 feet high. Its large eyes regard you and then flick back to the forge, and you see in its one hand, because there is no left arm, just clang, and it seems to hit something that is actually placed onto that anvil. You see something glowing. It does not turn its attention back to you. It appears to be working on something. What do you do?
I'm going to cautiously
Turn around and leave.
move.
This is just the right base size.
Uh-huh.
This doesn't exist.
Right.
So
So I'll just use my brain painting to imagine that dude from Wild Wild West.
There you go. Round here.
The spider thing with the head on
I haven't
it.
seen it in a
But
long
like
time.
the torso up on top.
The torso,
Yeah.
that bow to torso on top is not that far off.
Yeah.
Is that the right spot, Joe?
If you want to move it on the other side of that table, so that's a stone table that stands. But so he would be standing kind of between the forge.
Like here.
Yeah. And like there are legs that are up on the edge of the forge, and there are those that are around the anvil. He is quite large.
Wow.
So what do you want to do?
Like slowly
touch
make my
anything.
way in there.
Okay.
Be like looking at these, and I'm like, What you making there, friend?
Just clang, clang. No response.
No one
Alright,
speaks
I'm gonna
giant.
keep moving.
Okay.
Thistle does.
You can move Ovark with you. He's going as well. Is anybody else following? You guys now,
I'll
you
kinda-
are reaching the door. You can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, I guess
Two
I'll
of
just
you can
kind
see what's
of. I'll
going
just
on
kind of
from where
come.
you are.
So just for like more of a mental image
Sure.
here, these things are at our like level.
Various levels, but they all
It's a
hang
curtain that
down.
goes to the ground.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so
you know, there's like a little bit of
so you
clearance.
can't walk
They-
under it basically easily.
you could certainly try.
No, but
not
like
easily.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And there's like a couple inches, so that they are swaying slightly.
Can
in
I
this.
observe their craftsmanship and kind of like
Yeah, make an
discern
investigation check.
if they're like good, or if they're bad.
Sure.
13.
No in between.
Okay. As far as you can tell, they are of a fine quality.
Okay.
They're very simple, and they're
Sure.
an unusual design. Well, you can recognize swords, spears, shields. There's no iconography that you would associate with anything,
It's not-
and the
unless
shape
that more just,
themselves.
like, is this practice or is it like?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
The shape themselves, you've never seen anything quite like it.
How so?
They're very rudimentary at first. It seems like they're very simple, geometric almost. But there is a balance to some of them that you can see just in the way that they swing. They're very finely made.
Okay. Cool. I don't want them.
What about the two of you?
Following Gunter cautiously, though,
Okay.
and at a distance. Maybe
Fair
just around
enough.
the corner there.
You could put Thistle next to you.
This'll wait.
Um,
This'll wait.
He steps fully in the room. Yeah.
Let me go ahead of you.
All right. His eyes are fixed on that creature.
Can you see through pretty easily?
Yeah, I mean, so there's enough gaps because
Like,
you have to think
would
there's.
I have line of sight?
Yes, you have line of sight.
Okay. I want to cast Find Traps.
Okay.
So, there you go.
Cool. So, a trap for the purpose of the spell includes anything that would inflict a sudden or unexpected effect you consider harmful or undesirable. Okay. Given that, you know, what's the range on that?
120 feet.
Oh, everything. Oh yeah. So this wall over here is all the way to the ceiling.
Yes,
So
that
we
wall's
can't
all the
even
way
see
through.
in
You
there,
can't,
yeah.
but I figured it's just
That's
not
okay.
worth blocking everything.
No, that's
you know?
fine.
What I will say, based on that, there is nothing glowing within this room.
Okay.
I would say, you know, the door that is on this individual's chest glows slightly. You imagine that it would do damage should you open it. It's not necessarily a trap per se. Looking around the room, I mean, the forge fire is blazing hot. You can feel it even from where you are.
And these weapons
Touching
are
it,
sharp.
yes, but touching that fire would hurt.
Yeah.
You imagine that if you just put your face in the fountain, eventually you drown. But other than that, there's nothing especially dangerous other than the curtains of weapons and this large creature.
I'm gonna continue my cautious approach.
Okay. You cautiously approach. You just hear a clang.
I
Clang.
would like to whisper to Thistle, because I see him looking at the guy. I was like, do you know anything about that?
No. You see it too, right? The metal guy?
See what? What Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You can't do
It
that.
was just weed. It was just weed, Thistle. All right, I'll proceed cautiously as well.
Okay. You want to scrunch Morwen up a little bit and Thistle can go right behind her. You guys continue your approach, and it is getting hotter as you step forward. However, it doesn't seem to take any note of you.
I mean, if we're just
I gotta make
what's our plan? Are we gonna walk up to it or by it?
Excuse
I'm
me.
going,
Excuse me.
I'm going up. I'm gonna try to not get in a fight with this thing. He seems pretty big and scary.
Gunter not getting into a fight. All right.
I mean, Gunter's not
At this
always.
from this point, could we see the
Yeah.
entrance into the other room?
Yeah. From this point, so there's enough light coming out of the forge that you can see a little bit. I would say from here, you can see that there are 3 crates, wooden, up against that wall. You can't really see around the other side of that door,
Too bad I don't
and it's a
have
little
that
bit
cloak.
too dark towards the end of that chamber to really catch what's in there.
Okay.
You get the sense that there's a wall right there, but you can't. You
Yeah.
see like the bottom of it. You don't really see details.
Yeah. And do I get any sense of like malice, or is he like going to Or is he paying attention to us to the point where, like, if we tried to walk by him,
He's not even
does he
looking
seem
at you.
hostile? No? Okay.
No,
Well, then,
he's bent over and looking now. You're close enough that you can see on the anvil there is this glowing rod of metal, and he seems to be flattening part of it out. And every hammer blow, though it is strong, it's metal. It takes a long time to shape, and so he's just continuing to flatten this piece.
I think I'll just, like, again, just kind of keeping an eye on him, making sure he doesn't, making sure I don't touch anything, and making sure he doesn't make any moves towards me. Just kind of go and check out this other room.
Okay, you can move yourself over to the door. As
I
you
feel like the
pass,
second we touch that ball, he's gonna be like.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, but I just want to make sure we can plan an escape route first.
yeah, as you pass,
Mm-hmm.
there is this moment where, as the hammer comes up, it just slams back down again and it keeps hammering away at this piece of metal. You get up to the door and peering around now, you see there's some kind of like a mine cart almost. Elements are rotting away. The sides were wood, but there are parts that are starting to come apart. The metal is intact, and you can see through those holes there is like a chunk of ore in there. Not very big, probably left over like scrap. You can see now all the way through. You have dark vision.
Yep.
There is a metallic circular door, like a bank vault almost, and it seems like it will probably roll. You see next to it there is a key about this long, or you would imagine it would be this long, sticking out of a lock on the side of the door. You imagine it would be that long because it seems as if it's been torn in half.
I'm confused. One more time.
Sure.
So, like,
Sticking out of the wall,
yeah.
there is a lock, like a key hole.
Okay. And
You
then
would
coming out
imagine-
of that,
Coming out of that, there is like a half-shorn, foot-long key.
that's like,
So you can't see the head that is in
Jammed
the lock,
yeah.
Right.
but it looks like it's been torn off.
Oh.
The handle of it.
Okay. So the handle's been torn off. Okay.
Ooh,
So
this
you
looks like a
imagine
job for
There is
men.
like a like a keyhole like this in the actual lock. This comes out, but then it's like torn.
How long?
Yeah. Okay. So there was more to this key. It looks
You would
like, that
imagine.
was
At
ripped
one point in
off.
time.
Okay.
But without getting closer, you can't make out any details about the key itself.
Okay. I mean, if anyone else is going to do anything, I'm going to spend my time looking for that bit of key.
I'm going
'Cause
up to the
Ned did all
guy
that shit.
and
Okay.
inspecting what he's doing.
All right.
Like, what you working on there, friend? I'm like, looking at that. I'm like,
Doesn't respond to you in any way whatsoever, but just clang, clang, and it's starting to take the shape where you can see this is going to be like a double-sided blade. Make an investigation check.
that's a solid 6.
Okay. It's probably going to be
Six.
used to cut things, or probably just going to hang up on this hook. There are empty hooks, so there's space for these
I
weapons.
was just about to ask.
Oh,
Can I
pretty warm, huh?
can I check the crates?
Ovark just kind of leans in. Yeah, but I don't think he's going to talk to you.
Well, I guess we're gonna go borrow the ball, okay?
Ovark just walks away. What are you doing?
I'm going to look at the crates,
Okay.
just like slowly.
The tops
pop them
aren't
open.
secured, and so
Yeah.
going over,
Just
you
like
can just
lift
kind
them
of
up.
pull them back.
Yeah.
There are bars of iron,
Okay.
refined iron.
In all three?
Yep, all three.
Okay.
Just bars of iron, very neatly laid out. There's a layer of dust across the top. They haven't been disturbed in a very long time, which is
Okay.
odd considering that this individual is crafting something.
Sure. Under the minecart.
You're
Kinda
just
like-
going to get underneath.
Yeah.
There's little elements of rock and dirt, but it's still more of the packed dirt floor that you've seen for
And then
most of this.
following that, just a full-on sweep of the room, nooks and crannies.
Make an investigation check.
Because nowhere else looked obvious enough. Investigation? Nah,
Yeah.
10.
Okay. There's writing on the key. Where it's shorn, it looks like most of half of the statement has been taken away, depending on how long this handle
Sure.
is.
Is it in Draconic, I'm assuming?
Do you speak Draconic?
No.
It's a
But
language you don't understand.
It's a language Ovar.
Yeah.
You find anything good?
Oh,
Guidance.
Jesus.
Guidance?
Guidance.
Guidance on me. And then
Seven.
I quickly do one of those things and I tap Ovar to pass the guidance to him and be like, what does this key say?
Doesn't
I
quite
know,
work
I'm kidding.
like that.
I'm kidding.
Over kind of.
I will make a class for that as a thing.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Dance. So Lucio from Overwatch.
Yeah, you're just
Dance with
kind of.
Dragons?
Nice.
A
No,
dance with
so
dragons.
I point out there's writing on this key. Can you read it? Do you,
Kind
take a
of
look at
peers
it.
over at it. Yeah, it's Draconic, but it's only half of whatever it is. So
Sure.
this last
Does
word
it-
here.
Yeah.
Hang on one Yeah, so this last one here, avarixis is solution.
It says
Like an answer or a solution or a.
that's
you
the
know.
word.
Ah.
Solution.
Yeah, it's
Puzzle.
avarix. It means like an end or a finish.
Cool.
And then this last, this could be a lot of different words. It's half a word.
Okay. What could the half words, or is that a shitload probably?
He puzzles and he really kind of looks at it and says, "Well,
Ah, you tried your best, bud.
no. I mean, it could mean your own. So this might say your own solution, and there's probably more of it. This is half a word, so it could be own, or it could be
Mend.
to have a
I'm
solution.
gonna go touch it and
Okay.
mend it.
As you touch it, the metal components kind of back into place, and it becomes from a jagged edge, sort of a straightened line. The writing does not fulfill itself,
Right, we're
and you
missing
having
part of it.
having done this on paper before, you know words don't come back for books.
That was just bugging me. It was crooked.
Meh.
But is it fully like key turned ended part now, or is
you
it just
imagine
like
you could
mid-
probably pull it out
Oh.
now that it's straight.
And I look to Ovark, and I look like
Overarch's just kind of like he doesn't squint because he doesn't necessarily have eyelids, but you can see he just has like a level look
That's
at
pupils
Gunter
there.
after Gunter just says it was bothering me.
yeah. I'm gonna keep an eye on this guy if you think you can pull that out. I worry that he's here to guard something.
No. Hey, you mind if we fix and use your
If he's
key?
not listening, Gunter.
Yeah, no, it's. Don't
Go
say
to-
anything if you're cool with it.
Yeah. Okay.
And he appears cool with it. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
I-
sure he appears cool with it.
I would like to do with them.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
For what it's worth, I don't know if this is gonna do anything, but I want to take a closer look at all of these weapons and see if there's anything that stands out.
Okay. Make an investigation
Any
check.
one item
Yeah.
Look for the key head.
or any inconsistencies. If you
Sure.
will.
So you're looking for something that doesn't belong.
It's me.
What'd you roll?
8.
Yeah. There are a
It's
couple things that
me.
don't belong. I mean, you see, there are like half-finished projects. There's a few things that aren't necessarily weapons. You see something that looks like probably the beginnings of like a gardening hoe. There are pieces that might be tools, but nothing that seems magical. Nothing that seems like a key or anything that's especially out of place.
What about anything with writing?
As far as you can tell, there's no writing or iconography on these weapons.
Right.
Shay, you doing anything?
I'm kind of lingering at the end of where the last row of weapons is.
Okay.
Just kind of watching.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so, are you looking for anything in particular?
Anything that doesn't belong, and then you see me.
Nothing in particular. Might watch Morwin and inquire, what's up? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm just trying to see if there's, I don't know, like, have you ever seen or read those books where there was like a trap door from like that one book that stood out, you know?
Sure.
Oh,
Looking for
I've
that,
read
like-
those.
Have you, Thistle?
Yeah, and you go and you touch a stone. He goes over to the wall.
Don't
and
touch
he
it.
presses it, and then like a door opens, right?
Oh. Yeah, something like that, but maybe sword-like. I
You
don't
hear
know.
all of a sudden clang as this robot or creature, robot, yeah, continues to sort of just like hammer at this thing.
Did you find anything?
No.
Can I look closer? Because like
Just
I've kind of
my own
retreated
disappointment in myself.
from the key spot. And I'm just looking at this guy. Can I look to see if he's like
Yeah, I
two
put that in
things?
my
One,
lungs.
does he come into
Great.
this room? So like scuff marks, track marks, because he's got metal cloth.
Sure, yeah. Roll for that. Roll a survival check.
Yeah.
I would also
So that would
like
be
to
11.
11.
consider what the puzzle might be and see if there's anything that might lead to a solution. Because I'm pretty.
It's so
convinced
vague.
that- I'm pretty
Can you
convinced
tell me
that
the
there's-
answer with
well,
a good roll?
Like I want to see like everything in the room that might be a part of this puzzle or this riddle that I imagine is part of the room. Because I'm like, oh, this has got to be a puzzle room.
Okay, make an investigation
So
check for
what is my-
clues or any kind of puzzle related.
What does my 11 get me?
Your 11 gets you that, as far as you can tell, He doesn't seem. There's no
Does he just
visible
kinda,
scuff
like-
marks. There is dust, but it's hard because it's a packed dirt floor.
Okay, so he just kind of like paces around there making stuff. And then the other thing. No, I have to think about this other one, so never mind.
12.
Okay.
Puzzly.
Looking around the room, there's not. You look for other pieces of writing. You look for any kind of imagery or patterns, and as far as you can tell, there's nothing.
How-
Maybe we gotta help him finish his project.
Just
Tool
encourage
time.
him.
Yeah.
How how tall are these, like, how high up are the hooks that they're dangling from?
So the ceiling itself is 10 feet tall, and the hooks come down from the ceiling, and they probably hang at about like a 3-foot mark, but they're not all even. Some go up, some go down, so that whatever is hanging off of them, it seems almost like it balances the weight.
What is
I'm gonna inspect
Some
the,
minecart with ore.
without going underneath, can I
Mhm.
inspect the ground underneath to see if there's any, like, plunging or anything like that?
Yeah, without even really making
Just
a check,
'cause.
you laying down, you can see that you can see straight across. There's nothing that's touching the ground.
Right, no, but I mean, it's dirt, right?
Yes, packed dirt.
So there's no sign of, like, oh,
Like
please.
it doesn't look uneven or anything like that.
Yeah, do you know what I'm asking?
Make an
Like, to see if
investigation.
there was,
You're
like,
talking
a
about-
plunge at
Yeah,
some point.
yeah.
Yeah.
16?
You don't see a plunge, but with the 16, what you do notice is that the dirt around the forge going to these lines of different weapons, there's a lot of wear there. And you can see that the dirt isn't quite even. It's like a worn path almost. It doesn't extend into the other room. And with that, you kind of start to piece together the reason that these weapons are all so simple. They're probably being melted down and just recrafted again and again and again.
Huh.
Okay.
So this dude's stuck on a loop.
Can I go
What
check
can
out
I
the forge?
See
Yeah.
what the ore is.
As you approach, it is quite hot. But approaching it, roll an investigation check.
Oh, you going this side?
Probably the other side.
This side?
17.
17. Okay. With the 17, I'm going to say you notice a couple things. The first thing is that this forge, though very hot, is not at full power. You can see that there's an area in the back where it looks like there's sort of a grate and things could flow through. There's nothing coming out of that. You also notice, given sort of the shape of everything, this is not a dwarven or an elvish design. And you kind of look at this and you look back at this creature. There are elements of him that remind you of ore binding. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm checking out and then probably taking the ore in the cart.
Okay. So as you peek through the broken elements of wood, you see that there is probably about this big, just a chunk of black rock with elements of kind of rusted iron. You pull it out, and looking at it, it is a rock with little bits of iron in it.
I'm gonna go bring it over to the smelter.
Okay, so to this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give it to him. I'm gonna go like start the process. Be like, I'm gonna help this guy out.
Okay, so you're gonna start smelting. Okay, Gunter, you you go over to the forge,
gonna
and you
start
do see
smelting?
there is a number of tools off behind where Shay is
Oh,
currently.
it's okay. I brought my own.
Oh, okay. You take out your blacksmith's tools. You pull on these thick, heavy canvas gloves, and you
No
take
wonder
out
you're
this sort
so
of,
hunched over all the time.
Yeah, it's been a while. But, you know.
and you take the ore, and you kind of carefully, in this almost like a pizza oven looking
man,
thing,
it's
it's
gotta
crucible, just kind of begin holding it, and you can see elements of the rock start cracking, and the metal itself beginning to heat. Make a with your.
Smithing check.
I mean, yeah, you're proficient in blacksmith tools, correct?
Yeah.
So this is going to be you can add your dexterity modifier, your proficiency modifier, and that would be it, I believe.
That is a 14
Okay.
because my dex is 0.
The process begins. And you don't. Right now, he's just standing like he's
gonna-
like a shadow to Morwen.
I'm gonna
Okay.
give him a shove and be like, "Go help the guy in the other room out." And I'm gonna
Who are you giving a shove? You're giving.
to
Thistle?
Thistle.
Okay.
And I'm gonna guidance.
Okay, you cast guidance on Thistle. He kind of stumbles forward by one step and turns and looks at you. Is that all right?
If this guy comes after us, you get behind me.
Oh, I will. I'll probably get behind Ovark, honestly. He's just really big, and if he
Hurry
gets,
up in there!
he kind of gets moving. He goes in and looks at the key and just kind of says, "No, that's not going to work."
All right. Well, let's make. Gunter, are you making the head for this thing?
Oh,
Wait, why isn't it gonna work?
That's the
Well,
trick.
I mean, when you look at a key this size, it needs to be. You need the longer part to be able to actually torque it around.
Give me that.
Yeah.
Give me that
The
other
flop.
piece.
How big is it?
Yeah.
The keyhole itself is probably about that tall. The key itself, which is torn, extends maybe this far before
Well,
it,
it's-
it.
Straight
that-
now.
It is straight, but it
So-
extends
Yeah.
about this far
That's
before it
so
just
expensive.
stops.
If
Um,
we took out the key, I could try to pick it.
So.
I
Certainly
could
try.
probably fit like an arm in there to try. to
Your
do
hand
it.
would certainly
Okay.
fit in there.
Well, before that happens, Ovar, can you pull it out? And Thistle, could you guys pull it out? I think,
Ovark just pulls it out.
Give me
and it
that.
easily comes out.
Yeah,
Bring it
just
over
right
here.
out.
And I'm like talking over my shoulder while keeping a fucking eye on this thing.
Okay.
Doesn't react to that.
And as far as you can tell.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna come and be like, all right, guys, bring it.
Oh, we
bring
just
it
had
to
a disconnection.
Oh no.
We're back
Still,
up.
yeah, it's back. Guys, could you bring it over to the table? Is it heavy? Do you need help?
He kind of just weighs it in his hand a little
Yeah,
bit.
okay.
And it's pretty fine for me.
Okay, let's put it on the table, and Gunter can make a new key head for it.
Your
All right.
key head- This is the head of the key.
No, sorry, the fucking part that turny turn.
Oh, the turny turn. Yeah.
The butt of the key.
So just finish.
What
the key
is that
what you're
part
trying to
actually
say.
called?
The pus.
No.
You have to look it up. I don't know.
But
Sorry
actually,
about
like,
that, Talon.
The hilt.
I guess, but this isn't Kingdom Hearts, so.
The blade.
That's what it is now.
All right, so bring the key part over, and you can make the flat, wide part that we can then.
Yeah, I can probably make that happen.
Ovark kind of walks over with the key.
This is collaborative thinking.
Hey, dwarf, where do I put this?
On the table over there.
He goes and lays it down on the table. Just
Not. Yeah.
and as it touches the table,
Oh boy.
the hammer mid-swing stops.
Whoa.
And
And
then.
it turns around. Its crazy-looking eyes just kind of regarding it, and it kind of snaps up. And
Oh,
Ah, that's what I'm working on. Over here.
he turns down and looks at the key, and looks back at you. And
all right. I go and get iron ingots from the boxes.
okay,
I'm gonna get like as much as I can carry and bring them back.
what's your strength score?
0.
Fantastic.
Ovar, come help me with this.
You pick up, an arm load. You can get like 4 of them.
That's fine.
Over
I can only
goes
imagine it
over,
doesn't
and
get
you,
that
you kind of see, looks at you, and takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of takes another one.
Yeah, I get it.
Manages to get 8 of them. Between the two of you, you bring a dozen
Okay.
back.
And
to
we
the
lay
floor.
it down on the table, and then I kind of back up and I put my arms on my hips and I look and go, iron. Fix.
It kind of
And I
regards
look
you.
down.
Its eyes looking. One of them kind of starts drooping slowly before snapping back up. And it just takes the key and it takes 2 of these iron ingots. The sword itself, it just pushes and it clang onto the floor, slightly into
Yeah.
the dirt, and just begins hammering some of this iron out. Not even hot, but the iron begins to flatten, and then he begins touching this into the fire itself, melting it and molding into something of a handle.
Cool.
Ovar kind of turns around. How'd you know that would work?
He seems to be doing this on a loop. This is the only thing he's here for, I think.
Isn't
It.
it strange
They.
that he responded when it touched the table? I think to myself.
When the key touched the table?
Yeah. I'm like, I wonder what happens if we put something else on the table.
Oh, fuck. I don't hear this.
At
It's
this
in
point-
your
It's
head.
in your head.
No.
At this
Put it on
point,
the table and be like, flash. Just
you
makes
can
you like
see
twice as tall.
Ovark is looking at the key. Does that have writing on it?
Ah,
Yeah,
jeez.
you read it out.
Oh, the iron.
The iron?
Yeah, that you just gave him.
Does it? I look at it. Does it?
Doesn't seem to.
No, it doesn't seem to.
Hmm.
Do you think that's going to be something that doesn't make this key work? Do you think we should inscribe the rest
Kind
of
of
the...
steps forward and just taps the metallic creature, who doesn't seem to respond. And that's just weird.
What about it is weird?
Well, there's this thing. It's been in here probably for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Everything else is in Draconic, so I wonder if it speaks Draconic.
I don't know. Give it a shot.
Select. Just kind of waits.
Uh-huh.
Nothing seems to happen.
Okay. How about Infernal? I try talking to it Infernal.
What do you say?
Saying,
Alright, well, maybe something else. And I kind of turn the corner and make eye contact with the orb all the way across the
Alright,
room.
this
You
this
don't see
fly's
the
You
orb.
don't
gonna
see the
go.
orb because there's a
There's a door
doorway.
in the
There's
way.
a door. Oh, I see the door.
So you do. And as you guys wait for just a little bit, is anybody doing anything? This key seems like it's almost about halfway done.
yeah, I'm kind of just keeping an eye on puzzling. Can I look for any writing on him
Sure,
On
yeah.
it?
Make an investigation check.
and give Ovark the same idea while I'm doing this? Also being like, why did you think Draconic?
I'd be
Other
like,
than just it's written
"Good
everywhere here. What did you
idea."
expect?
Well, he
Guidance.
goes in a.
Well.
Sorry.
I don't really recognize this creature.
Sure, I don't think any of us would. This looks like made.
Well, something that my people tend to do is if we find something useful, we'll put it into work. And so maybe this was here before the temple.
Sure.
I'm not really sure. But either way, if we
Okay.
used it, it probably can speak to us.
And it just didn't want to speak to you.
I mean, maybe it doesn't speak Draconic. I don't know. Just seemed like an idea.
I mean, it clearly speaks common. It said iron.
Maybe.
Is the room stone or is it all metal?
The walls are stone, the doors are metal, and the floor is dirt.
Is
So-
it same like architecture as the rest of the temple, or has it changed at all?
As far as you can tell, it's the same.
So the
Have you tried talking to it in Dwarvish yet?
No.
Just for the sake of time?
No. Just
Okay.
common.
So investigation guidance is D4 or advantage?
Well, I recognize it's not like a dwarven construct.
It is certainly not.
Yeah.
You've seen nothing that would indicate dwarven work anywhere in this temple.
Okay. So yeah, I'm like. What was your question?
What does guidance give me? A D4 or is it advantage? Okay. So investigation.
Yeah.
18.
18. All right. With an 18 investigation,
Yeah, writing or markings or any sort of like that kind of stuff.
you see a number of things.
Oh.
The right hand itself, as you sort of look at it, has these. It looks like maybe they're claws. The left arm. Sorry. You notice it's not necessarily that it's missing. There is an apertured door there. It seems like there's probably something that comes out.
Okay.
You see now that you really look, and as you get close, not all of the heat is coming from the forge. It's coming from this creature.
Mm-hmm.
You would imagine that there is some kind of a fire source within him that when that door opens,
Mm-hmm.
could be used as a weapon. It may be used for this forge
Right.
process. It's unclear.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely, as you are regarding it, can tell that those eyes are humanoid and did not originally belong within this construct.
Yeah.
But
It's
they
definitely
still seem,
Frankenstein together.
in some way, to be alive.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you don't see any writing.
Free the soul.
Okay. Let's let it do its work first.
Okay.
I
I'm just
want-
gonna kind of keep an eye on it, but like a distance. So I'm kind of like leaning up against the wall now, very cautiously.
Oh, you're
Sure.
doing
Just
exactly
like
what I was
playing with.
gonna do.
I'm just kind of playing with.
Do you do it also, but like right next to him?
No, I do it on the other side, but I'm gonna go like this and just like. I want to watch him and keep like. I don't know. I just want to see how like, I guess mechanic his movements are. Like if it's all timed the same.
Okay.
Like if he's just, you know.
Make an investigation.
Again for inconsistencies.
Sure. No. Make an investigation check.
Oh, inner.
What'd you roll?
6.
Kind of hard to tell.
All I is does it go like do 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 do? No,
It doesn't appear to be a song.
My favorite song.
It you don't notice a pattern. It doesn't seem to be like everyone is the same, but it doesn't appear as if it necessarily exhibits any thought. This seems to be sort of like an almost autopilot, maybe like a lower intelligence creature, something like that.
Well, that's easy enough for all spells if we need it.
I'm going to hold off on my thought
Okay.
till later.
I'm literally just waiting for
Can I
him to
go
finish.
try to open both of the doors in this room that I see?
Sure. So the door that you came through is the one behind you guys.
Yeah.
There's only one other door that you can see, which is the large.
Vault door.
That we're fixing the
Mhm.
key. So
Oh,
I
Check
guess
that
I'll,
out.
Keys
yeah,
out.
I guess I'll still check
It
it
is.
out. See if it's like.
Do you want to do anything
it
now
was,
that the
like,
key is
already
out?
unlocked.
What would you like to do?
I want to go investigate. I want to go check out this lock and see. Just with my knowledge of picking, I want to see if it's even possible.
So you want to investigate it to see if you could pick the lock.
Yeah.
Make an investigation check.
Fuckies. Why do I keep a 5?
It is still
There,
fairly
there.
dark, and though you
Guidance.
do have
8.
wow, it is fairly dark, and there is a flicker within the other room, and you do make out what looks like probably tumbler, or at least one. It's a traditional lock. It's just larger. You could probably pick it.
Can I see through it?
Nope,
Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding.
I am. Which in and of itself might tell you something about the lock.
Can I go help the
Oh,
the
it did.
construct out?
Man, sorry, Talon.
What?
Drop that again.
Yeah.
We've got a few different
It's
people
all the
talking.
it's all the thoughts.
It is all the thoughts, probably.
Aneurysm.
Anyhow,
Using up our Wi-Fi.
I
Gotta watch
wanna
out for them.
Guidance.
Oh, Miles,
the,
while you're over there,
Yep.
please.
The construct guy.
okay.
Be like, let me give you a hand there. Like, tap him, and then I want to start trying to time it to.
As
hit
you
it
tap him,
on his off.
it doesn't seem as if the spell takes hold.
All right. I'm gonna get in there and start speeding up the process.
You watch as Gunter very, very carefully times it
Like
and
in
times
between
it.
each hit, it's like da 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 da.
He hasn't gone yet. You're a little
I like
old, and this
making
thing
mochi.
is fairly fast.
Like,
When you see your opening, you go to strike it right as he pulls it away and dunks it into the fountain. You right into the anvil. Your arm shakes. There's this clang that just echoes throughout the chamber,
My lady.
Thank you.
followed by the as the hot metal is plunged into water.
cool, are you done?
With its hand, it just removes it and sets it very gently right back where you had originally laid it down on the
Sweet. I
table. It
walk
is a
right
complete-
over and just pick it up and I go, "Thank you."
It turns around,
And I kind of like stand there looking expectantly.
just kind of continues to pull things up, and then just start hammering the same piece of metal again.
Now, looking at the key, the word still, it's like it stops at
Yeah.
the new metal.
Yeah, the word was not reforged.
And then what was the word that
Has anyone
that
touched him?
Ovark said
Solution, answer,
or something?
yeah,
Respond.
Oh no, what was the full word? Oh no, that was the full
that
word.
was the full word.
What
The
was
half word was like your own or yours or something like that.
Hmm.
I'm gonna check on the smelting.
Okay. You go over, and there are little elements of broken stone that are floating in now, probably about this deep in the crucible, like a little bit of iron, liquid molten
I'm
iron.
gonna take it out. Get it. Try to form it into a little ring.
Okay, make another blacksmith tools check. I like the idea.
Is this one for the Dwarven Lords or?
That's.
I'm sorry, every session it
14?
just comes out one of
What are you
them.
trying to make this ring look
Gunter's
like or
trying to
fit?
become the new Saul.
Huh?
I think I want it to fit
Saul.
the guy.
Oh, I said
Okay.
Zelda,
And
and I was
then
like,
make a little ring
That's
for
you.
him.
Also
We're doing
a
a
fan.
crossbow.
Well,
We're
use
doing
a
a crossbow.
forge.
Okay,
Probably just take it off and turn
Easy
it into
enough.
a dagger.
you create it's a very small ring because the fingers you notice do kind of become very thin and almost claw-like. So it doesn't have to be very large. Given his size, the ring itself is only like this big.
"Where's the cock rings? Damn it!"
I
I
sold
mean,
those.
it depends on how well.
I got some cool shit for
Long
that.
time.
Yeah,
You
I know.
you traded at least one of them.
Yeah, I traded all three for something. I
Yes,
don't remember what
I
it was.
remember that
But it was,
very
it was, it was an
distinctly.
amazing trade. It was an
Anyways.
amazing trade.
Anything is an amazing
Oh, I
trade.
sweetened the pot for the dwarf
You
with
did.
for my sweet ass armor. I gave him fucking
You
pubic
take
cock
your ring,
rings.
and what do you want to do with it?
It's a pretty good trade, I would say.
Hold it up to the guy, be like, "Hey, I made this for you. Thanks for letting us, take the ball and use your forge."
Its eyes never
Take the
leave what it's
ball.
doing. It just clang.
Cool.
Kinda
I'll just leave
shifts
it.
it around.
I'll just leave it here for you.
Okay.
And I kind of put it on off to the side.
And it's just again clang, and you see it just kind of
Yeah.
clang, and it just.
As he's
the
doing
third
this,
strike.
This is.
as he's doing this,
We're
I'm
all in
picking.
Temple of Cord, right?
Yep.
As he
I'm
does,
gonna be like. So Cord, right? See if your response to anything Cord-like.
Clang.
What if I'm like?
this dude's got some like keyword
Chord.
that works for him to be
No
able to command him,
response.
but I just don't know what the fuck it would be. So
I'm
gonna bring the key.
make an intelligence check.
yeah, and there's no writing in this room on the walls or
As far as
anywhere.
you can tell,
and
no.
there was no writing on him with the check.
You haven't
that I
seen
did.
out of the first room. You haven't seen a lot of writing.
Shit, actually, can I recall, or ask Ovark to help me recall, what the writing for the fire line was in that first room?
Yeah, this fire burns.
That's it? Okay. It does.
It does. It's pretty accurate. We're pretty literal. In
So
general.
what was my thing? What was my roll for?
Your role? You
For
were
like
trying
to like
do
figure out basically like keywords, summoning, like controlling a golem, basically.
history. Given your kind of like your research
Yeah.
and the fact that you spend a lot of time reading and writing and all
Sure.
that kind of thing, I'm gonna say this would be just a straight intelligence check.
That's 17.
17. You gave the only reaction that you've gotten so far is when you gave him material to work with.
Right. Okay. And he doesn't react to me taking the key back off, right?
Nope.
Does he have a lot of material around him to work with?
Nope.
It's just those bars of iron that are in the other room that he obviously wouldn't be going for because he just goes from here to there to there to there to there and making all these things.
Can I suggest...
But like why he's doing it, who set him on this task forever, like what? I can't figure that out. So in the meantime, I'm just going to bring the key over to the keyhole.
But just
Okay.
just
Walk
as
over.
like an I don't know. I have no idea if this will work out. or
As
anything.
Heinrich walks by, what are you doing?
I want to ask Thistle to help me bring the ores to him. To, if anything happens, maybe he gets like fucking distracted by it or something. Just stays busy.
All
I
right.
don't know how intelligent this guy is, so.
Yeah,
Probably
I'll help you.
pretty
And,
dumb.
But is that a good idea?
One by
To
one.
distract him?
I'm saying bring the ores next to him, so if he's constantly crafting and distracted on like what he knows
What
to
if it's
do.
like ammo, and he can shoot it at us? What if he
I don't know,
chest
that's not-
cannons it?
I'm gonna be honest, for a rogue, that's not really my problem.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
Sorry.
okay, well, no, I'm asking you.
If you think that's a good idea, that's cool. I'm just trying to get this orb and get
I'm
out.
asking if you think it's a good idea. All of my ideas I know are good. I'm asking if you think it's good.
I'm
Are you-
sure your
sorry,
ideas
hold on. Is this
Um,
Morwen asking me or is this you asking me?
Both.
Choose one.
What's the difference?
Choose one. Choose one.
Morwen's asking.
Morwen? If you think that's a good idea, I mean,
Can't
Go
get a yes
for
or no
it.
out of
Let's
this
get
guy.
this.
I'm just gonna take some of the iron over, and he
Okay.
Sounds
bends
cool.
down. And though he's very strong,
I'm
he
kinda
takes
like-
one piece of ore and just kind of walks over and
Is this
gently
key heavy
lays it
for me?
down. I mean, it's heavy. It's
it's
probably
like two arm kind of like.
It's like a 20-pound key.
Okay, cool. So I'm just like, yeah, that sounds cool, and I just like go for the keyhole.
I'm following
It just
behind.
fits perfectly
I
in.
don't turn it yet, and I just turn around and like kind of watch and just see what happens.
I go and turn it.
As I'm
This'll
leaning
get
on the-
back here.
And
Drop
as I'm
off the
leaning on
ore.
the key, Gunter turns it, and I just kind of like, whoa, and I fall over because I was just
What are you
leaning
doing?
on it.
If he's turning the key, I'm telling Thistle to get the fuck back here real quick.
Alright, let's
Little
set
bit-
ourselves
so hang
into
on.
like where we will
Yeah.
be for this inevitable combat, which is probably just gonna fucking happen right now. So you're
As
getting
you
iron, you're
turn the
getting
key,
iron, Thistle's over here, and
the
you've
door-
just been standing there?
comes back and then rolls slowly to the side,
Uh-huh.
revealing a incredibly hot floor of what looks like embers and fire.
That doesn't bother me at all.
And in the middle, you see an orb. This orb is a little bit different than the last one that you guys found.
Is it fucking hot?
It looks like it's probably pretty hot. However, the gem itself is, or the orb itself is clear. It seems to be made out of either a crystal or a glass.
Oh, that's cool.
But every now and then, as the firelight or this embers sort of shift,
Uh-huh.
and the light hits it just right, it's almost like a ripple, almost like when you hold opal just the right way. There's this ripple that almost looks like electricity.
Can I
see-
go blow on it from here? Just like
Yeah. You.
I still
And,
got
uh,
the blacksmith
flare.
gloves
Nothing
on,
happens.
right?
Huh? Yeah, you have the blacksmith gloves on.
Alright, I think I'm gonna like
I turn to you. Well, it's pretty far in there.
gentle.
Wait,
uh,
when I told Thistle
test-
get the fuck back here
test
before he
touch,
touches this
but I'm
ball,
gonna also
where did
use
Thistle get the fuck back
resistance.
Yeah,
here?
you can move him back if you want.
Myself.
He's going to listen to you.
I just
using
wanna know if you have
resistance
the
on
Okay,
myself.
which
and
resistance
We
are
gotta
you
learn to
using?
stop talking over each
It's,
other.
I roll a d4, add it to a saving throw,
Okay,
just in case.
sure. So you're going to reach out and just grab the stone?
No, I'm just test touch.
Okay, test touch.
Tap, tap.
Like my toe dips?
Yeah, just like
So you got the water, he got the fire. I guess I'll get the axe. Makes more sense for me to touch.
I'm going to say, so it is like 4 feet from the door to the actual thing. So go ahead and make an acrobatics check.
That's his entire like standing up straight body.
Yep.
So it's just
He's 5 feet tall as cannon, so he can reach it.
Hendrik, give me a boost.
a boost, and I just throw him in.
Okay. Make an athletics check.
I just saved him.
Wait, what? Oh, no.
Athletics 19.
19. Are you resisting this?
I think I want to.
Make an athletics check, competing.
I'm like, Gunter loves to do this, so I'm gonna help him do this.
Sure.
Oh, thank God. Athletics.
You do your
that's
thing?
19 as well.
Oh, so tie goes to the aggressor.
What is your natural strength?
His is higher
natural
than
strength
mine.
is
Yeah.
14.
So
Okay.
as you go, you pick him up, and his feet leave the ground, and Gunter just like drops his weight like a small child, and, like a sack of
Pretty business.
potatoes,
You
and
need
sinks back to the ground.
burnt up in there. Just,
Heinrich.
scooch me over the
He
top
said
so
go
I
in.
can
Aren't
poke
you a
it.
And I
tiefling?
and I
Can't
just
you
kind of
deal
like
with fire?
I kind of think like, oh, that's right. Like,
Um,
not everyone has this, and I just say, okay.
I could also just grab it.
No, it's
With
pretty
what?
hot.
It's too
Who's
far?
saying that?
Overk.
I can.
Got
Yeah.
this
You and
one?
I get this one, I guess.
All right. Well,
Since I can walk on this coal,
try,
I can walk on this coal. It doesn't really bother me.
Okay.
I scooch back and I'm like,
I'm saying I could walk on this coal too.
go for it.
So yeah, me and
Heimlich.
we're gonna go get it. Heimlich
Hendrik.
are gonna go get
It's
it.
Hendrik.
That guidance is still carried over for me too. I think.
Yeah, I'm
So
like,
actually,
it's 10 minutes,
so
so
wait,
you should-
actually, retcon.
No, Miles.
I threw you in. No, I'm
out.
just kidding.
You
just kidding.
in the other room, Shay.
I
Lean in and ask your question, and the hammer stops,
What was your question?
and it turns to you,
Wow.
and it says, "We'll cut her."
Beg pardon?
It's Jin Yi.
Do you say that in the language? It takes a second and kind of twitches. Kazathic.
Do I recognize the word?
You do not.
No.
Can you help us?
Kind of
Turns and clang, clang. It was a good try. With that,
So Ovarg and I are in there, lifting up thing.
Did I see them
I'm
whispering to
guiding
each
him,
other?
like,
I'm
make
gonna make a
sure
comment
you,
to this
you
and
know,
say,
lift,
"Aw,
lift with the
she
knees.
likes them."
I will
That
say,
guy's
as you,
okay.
you start to
Yeah,
approach, it
okay.
is extremely hot, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are resistant to fire.
Right.
Okay.
That's fine.
So
It's better than
also-
anyone else just walking
I
straight
cast
in there.
resistance when I pat him on the
Okay.
butt to let him go.
What does that do?
D4 to your saving throws.
Oh, perfect. So 2d4.
However, you are walking into a fire. There isn't really a saving throw associated with that.
No, I know, but at least with resistance and stuff.
It helps.
Yeah.
So as you take your first step in, you take 11 points of damage, reduced to 5.
Right. Okay.
I
I mean, it's only a 10-foot walk.
with the
anyway,
effect of your
so-
spell
It's on saving throws.
on saving throws. Okay, great. So yeah, it burns. I mean, it burns up even through the boots, which themselves,
Yeah.
being magical, do not take any damage.
Yeah.
You can feel the heat.
Does Ovarg look like he's reacting at all?
No.
Okay. I'd be like, well, let's hurry this up then.
Oh yeah, of course. And he
So let's get this
goes
ball
in
out of here.
I'm gonna
and
watch.
grabs it
No one interrupting. I want to get
No,
out
I'm
of
just,
here.
And
I'm
you
just
both-
saying I'm watching
very
him.
easily. Maybe
Yeah.
this thing weighs 50 pounds. You don't need to roll for it.
Oh, just 50 pounds? Oh,
And you realize
fuck me.
this is hollow and maybe
Oh.
glass.
Probably dangerous. You don't want to drop this shit.
I wouldn't, but let's get out
Okay,
of
wait.
here.
Okay, so let's get out of here. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so you
get
guys step out of the fire.
Okay, now very gently down.
Okay, and there's kind of like a ting as
How
it
big is it?
touches. It's probably about this big. It would fit in that slot. However, it is.
That slot. Oh, so the ball is like this fucking big?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was trying to think of the bag, but will not fit in my bag.
No.
I want to see if the dude react at all. I'm gonna peer behind the wall a little bit and be like, like.
And you see Boucher is nearby, but it seems to still be just hammering away at the same
Did I-
thing it was.
Did I see them whispering to each
You
other?
did not.
Let's skedaddle.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like if this thing sees this ball, it's probably gonna react.
It'll probably be fine. We'll deal with it if we deal with it.
Uh,
Ask for forgiveness, not for permission.
Yeah, that's your MO, not mine.
I already asked for permission. His tacit acceptance was not taking it.
Does anyone have
Alright,
like a cloak
whatever.
or something? Or I'll throw my like red coat on it.
Okay. Mormon takes the red coat off and kind of drapes it over. It doesn't
Oh,
fully
I have
cover.
cult robes. I throw the cult robes on it.
Okay.
Okay.
You
I
pull
keep my jacket.
out of your bag a couple of blood-stained Midnight Assembly cult robes, black with the very, very to you all familiar, but to nobody who watched, because none of you guys saw the Midnight Assembly arc. This like a skull with a cog coming out of its head. At this point, kind of like dirty and a little faded, but you use them to just layer over top. You recognize when it rolls, of course, you're gonna have to like either slide all of the clothes
Oh, I
back.
thought they were holding
or-
it. Are you guys not going to carry it, or are you rolling
It's on the
it?
ground for now.
Well,
I
I'm
just-
going to drape it on and just be like, if you guys carry it out here, make sure that it's like the covered side
Will it
pointing
be?
towards him.
Is it as covered? Is it like fully, or is it not fully covered?
Yeah, it seems like it's fully covered. You can't.
Okay.
If you were
I
to
don't know
lift it,
what all the
elements would
fuss is
drape
about. Hey, we're gonna take it now, okay?
over. Just clang,
All right.
clang.
All right, cool. Thanks. Thanks again.
So you want to stand in the way because you're the one with this whole acceptance after
Fine, I'll-
forgiveness.
I go in there and I just get like as close to him as possible, and just start waving, like on the other side of the table, just like bye, thank you, thanks again.
So before he does that, now that he's out of the way and he's not going to interrupt me, can I look at this cart real quick?
Yeah, make an investigation.
Does it look like it can roll?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
And this car alarm is really fucking annoying.
It is very annoying.
I think it might be. No, I don't think it.
No.
I want to, before this starts passing
Not
through,
really.
because I am Thistle's keeper,
Sure.
I
Oh,
want
boy.
us to start walking over this
Apologies,
way, and
everyone,
I'll
for the
stay here and I'll
call.
whisper him to like start cautiously making his way to the door.
So you said investigation.
Oh, all right. And he just takes off
So
towards
you
the
said
door.
investigation.
Just kind of weaving through. Yep.
That's an 18. Oh wait, guidance. 20. Like
You're gonna
literally protect it as best as possible, and then just like shopping cart through the fucking chain link, like run it straight out if
Sure.
need be.
What about your
If
body?
need be. Okay. There you
Oh.
go.
Yeah,
It's
just put
blades and
someone's
shit.
body.
It's blades and shit.
Yeah, but if you're pushing something through, I imagine that you are also going through.
Kind of like
Yeah, well we'll get to that. That being said, yeah.
Okay.
Does it? Can I like?
Yeah, and so with that roll,
Can I do
Yeah.
a little bit of?
it's actually it's not even especially rusty. You can move the wheels fairly freely.
Cool.
You don't. I mean, the wood is rotting away, but the metal itself is pretty sound, and this will work.
Which parts are metal? Which parts are wood?
The wood is
Metal
just the
frame,
sides
wooden
and the
side.
bottom. Yeah,
Oh.
the frame
But the
itself
ball's
is
big
metal.
enough that it wouldn't like roll out of the side of the cart. Yeah.
I'd say with your investigation, you could tell it will be a snug fit.
Okay. Cool.
It'll probably wedge. It won't actually reach the bottom, but yeah, it won't roll.
Well, that really won't.
I
help
take
much
another
at all.
piece of ore and give it to the guy.
Okay. It continues to hammer away at his project.
Well, let's just try that.
with-
then.
you waving.
What you said, no response.
All right. I guess let's try that over. Let's put this thing. Let's try to put this ball in here as carefully as possible.
Do you want me to just put it in?
Well, no. I mean, just two people on either side, slowly lowering it in. Because this thing seems fragile, right? Don't you agree?
I don't know. Everything's kind of fragile.
Well, yeah, you are too. But let's try to put this in here.
Kind of looks at his arm, which is
Yeah.
still like scabbed over and like
Yeah.
a little oozy. All right. He bends down, and together again, very easy. You guys are able to lift
Yeah.
it and just set it down into the cart.
Okay.
And it kind of, you hear the wood like, it kind of bows out a little bit,
How
and,
much?
it wedges good.
How much of
It's
the
about
work?
this much outside of the actual cart. But
Okay.
using the robes and stuff, you can cover it.
Okay, cool. And then I take my shield, which I just
Thank you
don't
guys
use
for
anymore.
continuing to come back also. I know
Yay.
we've disconnected 4 times at this
Oh,
point,
fuck,
but
that sucks.
for all of you who continue to come back for some reason, appreciate it.
So I'm gonna take my shield and just kind of put it on the top of it, on top of the fabric, so like layer of buffer and then the shield.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna be like, all right, let's wheel this thing out over your. Does he have a shield?
Ovark?
Does Ovark have a shield?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just be like, would you mind sort of like curtaining, passing the curtains as we wheel this thing out here? Curtains being the hanging swords. and
Oh,
shit.
yeah. I can do that. He takes his shield, kind
I'll
of slides
push
it
it.
up high in his arm,
Yeah.
and just gets one side of the cart.
Yeah, and then I'll get the other, and I'll just kind of like hold up my sword as best as I can, and we can both
Okay.
do that. I'll like bushwhacking, kind of like parting the razor grass and all that shit.
Are you leading it?
We're both gonna walk on either side.
Okay. Make a athletics check.
Okay. Sick. 7.
Okay.
So he's gonna pull his side
You
further than me.
really kind of struggle. It is a very easy moving cart, but the wheels themselves turn independently. So you find that it will
Like-
kind of unpredictably hitch to one side. And there are a couple times where you almost kind of swing yourself
Well,
into
this
the
is all
curtain.
practice in this other room, anyways.
Ovark, for his part, kind of like as you begin to swing away, pulls you back in a little bit.
Yeah.
He seems to be able to manage the
Okay.
elements that you are not.
That's fine. Thistle. Where's Thistle?
Thistle,
Yeah.
he's kind of like all the way towards the door over there now.
Oh, you guys are like all the way over here?
Thistle is.
Just him.
Just him. Oh, shit. Well, then never mind. I mean, I would like him to help push the back of it just to keep it going, but...
Are you asking him?
Thistle, can you come help with this?
You see Thistle kind of his head turned looking at you.
I'll help.
Howdy, Bo, get over here!
Thistle, please?
What?
Would you mind coming over here? I just need to help you to help me push this thing. That's it.
I think I'm just gonna help him push the thing.
It's just pushing. No big deal.
He walks over, gets behind the cart, and just kind of. So we're just pushing it to
Straight
the
on
door?
through. Yeah, we're just gonna push it right to the door, directly to the door.
Okay, that seems kind of dangerous.
Well, no, it's
He
just,
begins pushing.
it's just kind of it's kind of fun.
And as he does,
You're
he's
pushing
going to make.
through knives.
Yeah, well, it's not like they're swinging at us. We can just kind of
But
like.
it's a curtain of knives that you're pushing through.
They're not being swung, so if we're going slowly enough, it's
As
not
he
like
pushes it
they'll-
through, you do see he just kind of is going through. He looks kind of nervous, but the first sword that breaks over the cart kind of past his head, and there's a shield that kind of goes and again turns just
I'm
missing
like
him.
bearing that like so he's in the back, kind of like low, right?
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought
And
you were
then,
just having
like-
him do it all himself.
No,
Okay.
he's in the back.
Little
and
different.
Ovark and I are on the sides, and we're just kind of like doing a plow to
Okay.
like part everything, and then it
Make
goes
an
behind.
make an athletics check then.
Okay.
Ovark is going to make one as well. Oh man, Ovark killing
fuck
it
yeah.
on the athletics check.
15.
Okay. Ovark rolled a 20. So the two of you with very little trouble are able to, with your shield, just pass the metal. You don't even really hit it.
Yeah.
You kind of gently
It's just
got
like-
it aside
Exactly.
without too much trouble. You
I'd
guys
argue
make
more
it.
dexterity than strength. But.
You guys make it to the door.
Okay, perfect. So we have the orb in the cart by the door. All of us over here.
Shay, are you going as well?
Last one out, but yes.
Okay.
I'm like, alright, thanks.
And again,
I've been
it's
waving this
just-
whole
I'm gonna
time.
see that everyone else is left, and then just.
I'm not even picturing a smile. I'm just picturing me like,
Are you running through the curtain?
No, I think I'm like hustling back in like.
You're
So it's
sneaking
like
it.
the person that's really committed to the airline like waiting lines where they just
Yeah.
go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
You see Gunter just hustling his way back and forth.
Excuse me.
through.
Excuse me.
You rejoin the group.
Let's
And
get
then-
the hell out of here.
And then, so, like, keeping the orb covered just because until we're completely out of the room, I don't want this guy to be able to see. Like, I guess Ovark and I, because I still worry about fire and shit.
Mhm.
Pick it up and bring it out.
Okay. Without too much trouble, you guys lift it and carry it beyond the threshold of the door. And you hear the clang kind of fade ever so slightly as you leave the room.
Okay. And make our way back to the entrance to put
Okay.
it on the
So
pedestal.
you guys all following?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know because I see a lot of rapiers.
Yeah, you see
Shiny
7 or
and
8 of them.
sharp.
So I'm going to do this.
Okay. So, you
So
guys-
we're
No,
all
she was
back.
the last one out.
I am the last one out.
Oh, okay.
That's what she wanted.
Well, you're still over there. And you're just looking at all this shit now.
And
Or long.
I'm gonna go. There's a rapier, right?
There's at least 7 of them that you've seen.
I stand in front of one. I'm gonna go.
Morwen. It's not yours.
Okay, I'll walk out then.
Okay.
Well,
there
that
you
was
go.
really awesome.
The two of you exit the room having touched nothing that did not belong to you.
I was
Well
literally
done.
giving her 2 chances to stop me, and if you didn't go for that second one, I was gonna touch it.
There you go. Look at that character development. All right, so you guys exit the room with this orb seemingly intact and unhurt. And I will say, I don't,
Have you joined us out of the room yet?
I don't
Oh,
typically
okay.
do
You
this,
just
but I
wanted to
will
be
tell you
last.
guys
Okay.
the only way that you guys could have made this hard was for yourselves. And I gave you guys lots of chances to do it, and you didn't. So well done. That's
Yay.
excellent.
Yay.
So
Wait, really?
Character development.
Like
Well,
that?
you
like
put a
that's
big
it?
scary thing
like
inside.
We did a thing.
Well, you put a
Yes,
big
like
scary thing in a
safely?
room, most
Yeah.
people will attack it.
Is it
There was
done?
there was many ways that it could have gone wrong. I gave you guys ample opportunity, but you didn't take any of them. So
Well, yeah.
Did
It's
I
like-
almost at the end?
not really.
All right.
Oh, I could have gone to get. Guys, we're going
Let's
back.
go back.
You can go back yourself.
To the entrance, and are you just placing the stone into the pedestal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put that thing in. Let's go. We got 2 more.
As you slide
That
the
thing
stone
back where
in,
it came from?
it
Help
doesn't
me.
like sink into the pedestal as it did before.
Which one is it?
Uh,
so that one was
Because I'm
water.
a child.
So
Yeah,
no,
are you
sorry.
forgetting it.
This was water.
Oh, well, we were over there.
Wait.
Forever admit
That was the
this.
one that was
Yeah,
water.
sorry. That is water. That's fire.
Okay, so we just come right back out the hallway and just like deposit it, and I just immediately turn around and be like, all right, Gunter, you're right, let's go.
As it drops into the slot, torches that have been up along the wall light,
Oh,
and
I
you
stop.
see within the hallway the torches light in there, and outside, the one brazier that isn't on flares to life.
Can I speak out a fart right
At
before
this,
that?
sure. There's a
Right in
there's-
front of it.
There's a
You're like,
oh, make a performance check.
yeah.
To damage yourself with an explosion of fire.
Fart.
26.
That was a crit? That was a crit?
You
No,
watch
I get +8.
right as the brazier's about to go off. You kind of squeak one out, and there's this little streak that kind of burns almost to you. But you are safe.
You guys, I don't
You
know
get the
what
sense
I
that
ate.
this having the stone in has now provided light throughout the temple, and you do see now out into the darkness rain falling, indicating that there is light coming from other sources as well.
Okay, we don't need the
Alright.
bang bang anymore, yeah?
Oh yeah, that's
Did,
awesome.
I'm gonna go check out that spa and take a little bit of well, actually, no, I don't
You know
need
what to
this.
play while we're
Did
looking.
anything, like, did I hear anything,
Those sweet
maybe
jams.
like doors opening or new paths opening up?
Make a perception check.
Like, see anything? No, I
I'm gonna
don't
walk over to the glass
see.
window and look
Passive
through
perception
it.
is 14, but that was a 2 plus
Okay.
2.
You don't hear any new pathways open up.
Plus 4.
You going to the
Yeah, just see if anything has changed behind the stained glass.
not necessarily a change, but you get a much better view. So you can see that there are 6 pillars heading. You know what?
I can
I
see
would
into the
say-
room now?
Do we have a picture of it?
We do. Of course. Do we have a picture of it?
I can't
We're
wait
not
till
gonna
the
go
beat
in, so
drops.
just hold it up so we can see. Laying it down would just be
The
a
flute
hassle.
Sure.
drops. Whoa.
Okay,
So
so
you
those
see
pillars.
There are these pillars that rise to the ceiling, each of them probably like 15 feet square, huge, supporting. And as you look up, even with the fires lit, you do not see the ceiling.
Okay,
You can see the edges of it, and it seems like it's probably a stone dome of some kind.
okay.
You can see various stone blocks that have been laid down to form the image of a fist.
Yeah.
Those lightning bolts
and
are laid into the ground, and they seem to be actual gold.
stuff. Cool.
Um,
I like
this-
don't make any
I'm
sudden
sorry, what are we
gasps
looking at?
or breaths.
This
This is
the room
me
behind-
looking
You're
behind
looking
the stained
Oh,
through
glass.
the
I
stained
understand.
glass
I'm sorry.
window.
I'm basically
I thought
not
this
trying.
was the
As
stained
soon as I see the
glass.
gold,
Okay.
I think like fuck, Gunter's gonna see that. Okay, and I just don't. I try not to react at all.
You also see that there is this large wooden. It looks almost like a wheel that's been laid on its side.
Okay, cool. So we'll have to spin that later.
You see chains within it.
Okay.
There is a great iron door on the other side, steel perhaps actually, and it's
fun to open it.
huge, significantly heavier and larger than the one outside.
All right.
You also notice. Make a perception check.
How many minutes have passed? Is guidance still on?
No.
Okay.
You only get one use of it.
Oh,
Or fast.
no, I got you.
Methinks
What was my thing?
final boss.
This is going to be a perception check.
Oh, so 10.
Okay. You don't necessarily notice anything, and all of a sudden, there is this of lightning as it erupts out of one of the sides, streaking over and striking the ground.
Where the fist is?
Nowhere, just on the
Just
floor.
randomly?
Yeah, seems
Okay.
like it.
From the pillar?
You didn't see where it came from.
Oh.
Alright, we're gonna go. We got 2 more. Let's go.
Yeah,
All
I
this
kind of
dilly
like.
dallying. Jeez. I'm gonna start walking.
Jeez.
You also, I would say, Heinrich, you do see that there are some closed metal doors still on the side.
Okay. Two of the. Are any of the. Like, are there 2 that are open?
There are 3 that are open.
Okay. Okay. No movement though, other than that lightning bolt?
As far as you can tell. Again, you're looking through stained glass, and the glass itself is maybe this thick.
Right, so it's
there-
warped, so I'm just kinda like-
It's very difficult to see, but you get
And
the general gist of it.
And then as Gunter's like, let's keep going, I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
And then we
And you
walk off and
go on with the group. So, At this juncture,
How I am when we walk by a shoe store.
Sure.
at this
Pulling
juncture,
you by your hair.
the group of you heads back into the hallway. It is now well lit. Heinrich, did you want to go to the pool?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
want to check it out, see if it's like actually steaming it or not.
Sure. Are you guys all going to the pool?
Nah.
Okay. Heinrich goes on an adventure. You guys split off and go left. You pass that forge, which seems relatively unchanged, although you, having investigated the forge more, now see that there are small bits of ember beginning to kind of come out of the back of it. For what it's worth, you guys can see a little bit further now, all the way down at the end of the hallway, there is a iron door with a twisting sort of wheel that you guys are very familiar with at this point. What would you like to do?
I'm going down there.
You are in the
Just
lead.
lowering it a little.
We're moving.
Let's open that door.
Okay.
Who's
So-
behind door number 1?
As you approach, it is a bit of a
Door
T
Door number
intersection.
3.
The hallway itself ends on the left side. There's that door in front of you, and then looking down to the right, there's an open door. You see through this open door the edge of a bench that kind of pokes out. And there's a partition, and it seems like the hallway goes to the right and then to the left around it.
I'm gonna like go to the door and then be like, ooh, and then go
Okay.
in that direction.
So as
and
you
just to
go,
go around, just to see what's behind the partition.
you sort of peek in, and it's difficult. There is light now, and you can see elements of like flickering flame and things like that. Hard to tell. There's sand on the ground, and it looks like at some point maybe there was like a painted circle, but difficult to tell. Looking around the other way on the partition, you can see there are 2 stone beds with a good amount of staining on them.
Is this in the spa room?
No.
Oh, no one
You-
followed you.
Oh, okay,
By
cool,
yourself.
cool, cool.
You're
Yeah, no,
asking
no.
what did I
Finish
miss?
your
What did you
shit.
miss?
Walk
Oh.
into the spa room, and it is steaming hot.
Yep.
You can see that the pool itself has movement in it, and it looks like there's some kind of a thermal circulation happening. The
Steam
hot tub
rising.
itself is already bubbling,
Cool.
and there's steam rising. It is a very, very hot room.
Yeah.
Unpleasantly so, even for you.
Anything else change about the room?
There's torches now up close to the ceiling
Yeah.
that are lit.
But like important, like structural or anything like that.
Make an investigation check.
No, like, I'm just gonna like scan the walls for like secret doors and shit. 18.
18.
killing it.
All right.
Not only is there secret doors, there's secret people.
You look into the pool,
I don't know.
and you can see that there doesn't seem to be any changes. You do see that there's light coming out of 2 of those tubes, and that's probably where the heat's coming from.
Yep.
All of the tubing that has heating seems to go to the left in the direction of where that fire room was.
Okay.
Like if you were to travel underground, it would probably emerge somewhere in that region.
Sure.
Outside of that, no real changes.
Okay.
Seems like this is definitely built as like a relaxation sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Like post stressful physical endurance, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, all the
I
doors
kinda
have been
just-
very difficult to lift.
Sure. I just kind of like nod and then I back out and like catch my breath because it's probably pretty fucking hot in there.
Yeah.
Where is everyone?
Looking down, about 130 feet, you see your group, and you see Gunter heading towards the door, and then just turn his head, and then just change direction and disappear out of sight.
So he goes a different way from the group because you have the torch. So
I don't know. The group is all standing there.
well, there's a torch.
Which
so
way did
that's,
he go? Where
Gunter.
did you
So
go?
Gunter gets
I'm
up to
still
the door that
holding
you
it.
saw,
Yeah.
looks to the right down the hallway, and just goes ooh, and just walks. And
I'm
you lose sight
following
of him.
him.
Okay.
Nope.
You turn around the corner.
I'll catch up.
Nope. Okay.
I'm
you
gonna go
stay where you
snuck.
I'll
are.
catch up to like where Shay is.
Okay. So you and Shay and Thistle are all standing right there.
Yeah. Be like,
Roll
where-
your stealth
what's
check.
going on?
Ovark follows you.
Gunter was going for the door.
20.
He went that
Not
way.
now. Well, obviously.
Okay.
Huh.
You feel very hidden. And you, as you kind of look around, you talk to Shay, you look over, and Morwen's gone.
Yeah. And I don't react because that's totally normal.
Yeah, I'm
Thistle-
kind of like I'm kind of
Thistle
like
looks,
Batman.
Thistle looks
Yeah.
really anxious.
Yeah.
And
I
it's kind of
I
looking
look
around
back to
for
her
a
and like
moment.
she does this.
All the time.
To her, is this a li-
Yeah,
Oh,
but
is this like an axe?
You do.
I was supposed to. She was gonna protect me. I thought.
Don't worry. I got you. I got you.
She's
man.
still here.
All right,
I got you.
all
I
right.
just can't see her. She's still here.
My mom's like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you
She's
and
still here.
Ovark make your way, kind of a little bit further into the partition, into this, so you
got
can see
real
further around.
Deep cut.
Now, peeking a little bit further, you can see that this partition kind of goes out into a stage. There are these metal banisters that probably had rope at some point, although they've long since rotted away. There's more of the room beyond, but without going further, you can't really see it.
I'll come back to you later.
Okay.
I turn back and go to the door.
Overarch kind of watches you go and says, "You ever been in a temple?
Oh, plenty of times.
It's a gymnasium."
Yeah, that's why I said I'll come back for you later.
All right. He kind of turns and follows you.
If you want to go play some hoops, go for it.
When he
I don't really
turns,
know what a hoop is. Yeah.
since I was like sneaking behind and following, when he turns around, I'm just gonna all of a sudden be like, "Whoops!" And like right.
A game. It's not basketball.
Fair
It's
enough.
a different game.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. So you turn around and Morwen is just there.
Ah!
Didn't mean to spook you.
And I'm like, well, let's go. I'm kind of like smush past her.
Alright, I'm gonna go snug again.
Okay, make a stealth check.
I love sneaking. Sneaky. 17.
Okay. As Overarch watches Gunter away, he turns and just goes, "You're not," and you're gone.
Yay.
You go back to the rest of the group.
Yeah, I'm going straight for it. I just go.
What are the rest of you doing at this point?
I'm kind of
You see
standing there like,
kind
Gunter,
of reemerge.
where'd you go? I'm just staying like this.
I was just go check down the hall, see if there was a bathroom. This is nothing.
And as he's doing that, I'm just like watching him walk by as he's talking. Okay.
Make a strength check.
That's
Let me know if you need help, old man.
7. Yeah, can I guidance myself?
You cannot. It's this, like, it seems stuck.
Is that
You're
what we call
unable
it
to,
these days?
with your elderly, feeble hands, move this mighty
Just-
wheel.
I'm
I like
gonna-
look to Shay. I'm like, can you help the guy out?
Strength check.
19.
19. You walk over and kind of, with your elbow, nudge Gunter out of the way, and with one arm, just, and it turns fully around.
I loosened it.
You
for
take the
you.
other hand and you very
Whatever you
easily
say.
turn the wheel. Every turn brings the door just up and up. Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah.
Up.
You did.
And you see beyond what looks like a gymnasium. For
Another
visual reference, if
gymnasium?
you want. So I really can never tell where you guys are going to get into a fight.
When Shay opens the door, I'm
Uh-huh.
going to just make myself known and then be right next to this. I'll be like, huh,
At least
I thought you were going to have to get in there.
Me?
Oh, I thought I would scare him. Never mind.
He's, from what you've noticed,
Is this a
he is
Panther
very
displacer?
He's a chill
observant.
dude.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Scared.
observant?
He's very observant.
Oh, okay.
Given that he's stoned most of the time, yes, he is quite observant. So yeah, you open the door and you see, Gunter, that there is a gymnasium.
that a
You see
mattress?
there are these stone benches that probably
For
could be used for
girls.
some kind of exercise. You can see what looks at first like bodies on the ground, but you notice that they are these sort of fairly mildewy canvas dummies that people might practice wrestling moves on. You can see that there is one long
Wrestling
rope
moves.
that might be used for strengthening exercises. There's a second one, but it looks like it's frayed away. You do see that there is the rest of the rope neatly coiled somewhere nearby. You can see that at the top of 2 staircases, there is probably what looks like a wrestling arena. The sand on the ground there mostly to absorb blood and sweat. But most of the sand has been kind of moved over time, and you can see just the actual wooden platform itself.
Visual reference.
I'm looking for it.
Woo!
I'm going to say,
I made a lot of
let
visual
the bodies
references for
hit the
this week.
floor.
I'm
So it
gonna
might take just a
go up
second.
and
I
inspect
chuckle
the,
for some reason.
The wrestling mat, the stagey thing more closely.
Okay, make an investigation
Not
check.
gonna step on it, though. Not getting in the ring yet. Not just yet.
Not yet.
That's a solid 5.
It's a ship of some kind. A 5?
Take that as a
Solid.
sign that it's time to swap out.
Oh
You,
man.
You notice that probably wrestling happened here at some point. What you
So
do know,
there's
of course,
some sort of wrestling mat.
You're very
okay,
astute,
right.
Gunter.
Man, there are so many maps in front of me right now.
Hooray!
Very simple visual reference. You can see on the stage itself, or on this what used to be a wrestling thing. Wrestling is where it's at. Just bits of sand. There are areas that are scuffed and damaged. It's a used room for sure. Outside of that, not a whole lot.
Where are we coming in from?
If you guys are coming in from the door that Gunter just opened, it is that closed door over there.
Which one?
The one that I just opened. I guess
This?
we're trying to-
Yeah. It's the one that Gunter tried to open.
One that
and
Gunter
she
This one
actually
or this
opened.
one?
This one right here.
Okay.
That is not a door. As,
Yep.
as you look over at that, you can see that it is this stone shelving system that has these long, very heavy-looking stone pillars.
Oh,
And
can I
thinking, yep,
stone come those?
sure, make your stone cutting check.
That's a 20.
A 20. Okay. Looking at these appear. They're crafted out of some kind of like a pretty basic rudimentary stone, but I would say they're used for weightlifting. There's nothing that you can really discern. They're not dwarvish. They're either human or draconic, probably based on their simplicity.
Ah. Well, this appears to be a gymnasium.
Yeah, I literally just
What
said
the
that
fuck
to
is
you.
that?
So am
Are you
I
just
mistaken?
parkouring around that gymnasium?
Am I mistaken in that this
Like
was also the same room that
guitar.
he?
So you can see
'Cause-
that looking down the hallway, there is that partition that he went behind. Yes, it is probably connected.
So I'm in the hallway here,
Mhm.
looking that way.
Yep.
That's where he ducked in.
Yep.
And this is also the same room.
Indeed.
How many other entrances to other rooms were there in this hallway that we're in right now, or I'm in right now?
There is one more open door that leads to that great hallway beyond the window that you saw. It was previously
Oh,
closed. That is
okay.
the third doorway. That is the one that is not.
Gotcha. Well, unless we do like a quick sweep, there's no stone here, so I don't really care about it. I like poke my head in. I'm like, any orb? To Gunter.
I'm
Just
looking at the.
just see an orb.
I'm looking at the ring here.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I put 1 foot in it.
Okay. Roll 20-sided dice.
9.
Okay. I just wanted to see you roll. No, that's fine. You put your foot in it, and it's in a ring now.
I'm gonna put my second foot in.
And your second foot is right next to your first foot.
Gunter, orb? Yeah, no.
I think this is a puzzle.
This is like
What?
a fighting ring?
Maybe.
Alright, I want to
I,
sprint over here.
Okay.
How high is it?
So it's like a high school gymnasium, where you would have an assembly. So quite literally 4 feet tall. So this is the reason that the stairs are on either side, is to get up to the actual platform.
you're gonna vault
Is
in
there,
and
like-
luchador challenge Gunter.
That's none of your business. Is there like a bungee railing?
So it looks like at some point there was. However, any kind of cloth or organic material like that seems to have worn away or rotted away.
Alright, I want to climb up.
Okay. There are like the metal things that they hung off of, like the poles, but there is no rope.
I'm gonna get on top of one of the poles.
Okay. Make an acrobatics check.
Okay.
You are still stealthed.
Ooh, 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 ooh!
No Jumanjis.
Yep, no Jumanji. Pick that up.
Gunter Libre.
Yeah.
Acrobatics, where am I? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That is a 28.
Yeah. I want to see
For anybody
this
paying
front
attention,
flip.
although Gunter is currently stepping in the ring and looking at it, behind him there is this as this dark shape just appears. Batman perched on the very edge of a post no bigger than this.
Yeah.
Feet and hands all in one place. What are you doing?
I'm gonna flick my tail a little bit and go, meow, and jump on him. But I don't want to do any damage. This is a playful cat
Sure.
pounce.
Make an attack roll.
Okay. I actually don't know what I add to my.
Just
What would I
step in.
add to my roll?
So
for
it's
this?
it's
Sorry,
an attack
I just
roll,
have
so
it as my
This
attack
roll.
bonuses for my weapons.
Sure. It's the same as an unarmed attack. So
it's
you're
strength.
yeah, it's a strength
Okay,
modifier.
so 8.
No
Eight.
proficiency
Okay.
unless you're unarmed.
You jump over and
Later.
just kind of you're gonna make the cat noise and everything. Okay, so you make this noise and leap off of this post, and Gunter, you half turn around and there's this impact, and just fur and like the faint smell of pipe leaf and seawater and leather. And all of a sudden, Morwen is just like grabbing onto you, Hobbes style, Calvin and Hobbes. What is your roll?
That was a 3. I was just rolling a 6-sided die.
Cool.
Because I'm gonna lash out. I'm startled.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Oh fuck.
What is it?
It's a 20.
It's a
Natural
crit.
20.
We crit against
Do I
each
see
other
it?
and not our enemies.
No,
This
but
is
I
the
see it
worst.
happening.
You do see it happen.
So I'm
Oh,
going
yeah. That's how you see
to
it happen.
use whatever you're about to do. I think I can use evasion for this. Oh no, that's area
no, you need
effects.
an area effect like Dragon's Breath.
All
or
right, then
something
uncanny
like that.
dodge.
Okay, so you take half damage. Roll a d4 and add your strength modifier. Since this is, you didn't see non-lethal damage, which is a Gunter trend.
Yeah, I'm like catching whatever's coming at me, and I'm gonna do like a fall onto my back and then like throw.
So you're suplexing Morwen.
Pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, this is literally now what I was describing.
That's a 4.
Oh, well, max.
Plus my strength.
Which is
Yep.
Plus 2.
All right. You take
3.
6 points. No.
3.
Well, she-
Oh, right. You,
Sure,
you,
yeah.
you evaded. So yeah, you take 3 points of bludgeoning damage as you leap, grab onto his back. Gunter sort of swings around, gets one arm around your waist, and just heaves you over him as he lays back. You go over.
Can I try to land on my feet?
Make an acrobatics check.
Okay. Oh, farts.
Negative.
But it's 13.
What? You're
Oh, my roll. Well, I rolled a 2, but it's 13 for acrobatics.
okay. You take
I'm
a
an
landing.
expert in
You,
that.
you do tumble and land. You kind of like you end up on all fours, but you still take 3 points of damage.
Oh, you
Well-
startled me.
I'm gonna get on my hind legs and be like,
So you recognize that being on your hind legs means you're just standing.
oh yeah, no, I'm picturing cat like when they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm just standing, yeah,
So
no
you're just-
claws out,
yeah,
but I'm
you-
just soft pawing.
Yeah, you see Morwen just kind of paw at you aggressively.
Ow.
I'm gonna shoos you away.
I'm gonna slowly just walk down the hallway and be like, cool, puzzle, guys, and then
Okay.
just gonna go check out that other room.
You
But
make
you
it-
don't have to do that yet. I'll just
What are you
tell what
doing,
they're
Shay?
doing. I'm gonna separate off basically and go start checking
Following
that shit out.
Heinrich.
So the two of you head off towards the Great Hall.
I'm gonna be like, our wrestling match didn't initiate any sort of puzzle mechanisms.
Did not.
Wow.
Weird how
surprise.
that didn't happen. Yeah.
Weird that a place built on strength doesn't have really
Well,
abstract puzzles.
Sacrifice.
I
2
guess,
men enter, 1 man leaves. But
guess
I
that's
am
that.
no man. So
I'm
many
gonna,
references.
Come down, I'm gonna like kick one of the dummies, see if that activates anything,
No.
and then be like,
Make an attack roll.
handle all of those references?
At advantage because it is prone. So
And also
Cannot
like
process.
unconscious.
I'd have done it.
14 plus 2.
16.
Yeah, 14 hits. Or 16 hits for sure.
Just
You
like
can
Okay.
roll damage. Roll unarmed damage. D4 plus strength modifier.
3 plus 2.
You kind of look around. Are you still in the room?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm in
Morwen,
the arena.
You see Gunter walk over to one of these dummies and just give it a sharp kick. The whole thing slides like a foot over
Yeah.
the dummy.
I'm gonna like, where did they go off to? Sort of
You leave.
start
Morwen, you are
walking.
alone in the room.
I do some very
Loud farts.
no. I
Maybe.
I do a bunch of like backflips and somersaults and like cartwheels.
Okay.
And then I'll join after 5 minutes of that.
Acrobatics check real quick. Or performance check would be this, I think, probably.
19.
19. All right. So, none of you see a truly like 10-star acrobatics routine.
Sure. Masterful.
Morwen is able to leap from bench to bench all the way over to the actual stage itself and back. Kind of look around. Nobody's there. But feeling very good about yourself, you hurry up and join the
Then
group.
I'll just do my last backflip down
Okay.
and just
It's a perfect landing.
that's good enough for me.
There you go. You
Miles.
turn and exit.
Yeah, I will.
Now, Shay and Heinrich, you guys are the first to head towards this
Right.
structure.
I'm making a point to like not
Why
enter the
didn't we
room, but
go
get as close to it
this
as
way?
possible.
Okay. You enter, or you don't enter. You get right up to the doorway, and you see much of the room that you saw before. You see across the way, there is this metal doorway similar to the ones that you've seen. There is a large iron wheel, the same that you guys have seen, probably opens it. And as you're looking at it, there is this dull hum that you notice ever so slightly. I said that word really weird. A dull hum. A dull hum.
Well, I mean, if you hum the word hum, it's just pretty.
There's a dull hum. And suddenly just a crack as lightning strikes out, hitting another
Now, can I
different
notice-
part of the wall.
Can I notice where it's
Make a
coming
perception
from?
check.
Licking your finger webs. It's a little strange.
10.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, did Shay see that too?
Yeah. She certainly did.
Where did that come from?
With a passive of 17.
Yeah, well, fuck.
No, you do not. You can see, looking around this room, that there are... Roll an intelligence check. You see this. I want to see how much of it you understand.
Whoa. Is that a 20? No.
It's
Okay.
11.
Shit. From here, it looks like a 20.
You see...
Kill
That's a
them.
flat
Useless rolls.
still glowing ever so slightly. There is, coming off of one of the pillars closest to the fist, and you now notice those two pillars, the ones closest to the fist, slightly different shape. There are these steel sort of plates that have, not dissimilar to the griffin statue. Huh?
Nah.
Oh. Not dissimilar to the griffin statue. That seems to have emitted that bolt. And so, for a little bit of perspective here, so that you guys know where you stand, that last bolt of lightning came out of here.
Cool. And you're coming from down there?
You guys will be coming out of that
This one,
doorway.
which is open.
This is the doorway that you see across from you.
Right. And this one's open. All those are
Correct.
just open.
It is worth
passageways.
noting, I drew this map before, this was when I realized, oh shit, they might really fuck up and break the glass. So I've had this map drawn for a while, so usually I draw it in the state that you'll find it, but I didn't know if you would find it with the door open or shut. So.
Sure.
So yes, that door that you guys are standing at is open.
Wonderful.
There is, ever so softly, now that you are at the doorway, like a very light rainfall that seems to be coming out of this sheer rock, or maybe whatever's up above. You can't see all the way to the ceiling.
Is it falling everywhere, or is it falling in parts? Like there's a crack in the ceiling somewhere?
It seems like it's falling just in between all the pillars. So in
Just in
that
between the
whole
pillars?
space between them. So like, this is all kind of wet.
Oh, okay. I look to you and I'm like, let's not walk on that area.
You're very intelligent.
Yeah, I got an 11. But actually, I'm gonna creep into the room and never pass through the middle of it.
Okay.
Why don't we just
I'm gonna
creep on the
kind of,
sides
like-
the whole time?
Yeah.
Put my hand
So are
out
you
and,
guys
like,
now
stop me
going
for a
now?
second?
The rest
Yeah.
of you join, and you can
Wait.
see the two of them sort of hesitating and talking.
Wait for a second.
Mm.
I want to see where the next one comes from.
Okay. Good idea.
Another 30 seconds passes.
What are you guys doing? I'm
With-
eating jerky now.
And just
too.
turn around and go, shh.
Wait, actually,
No, like in game.
what are you eating? It looks like
Shay, you
jerky.
watching see that all of a sudden
Commercially
this plate
available product.
begins to
Never
glow
mind.
ever so
Not
slightly
interested.
brighter, and you start to feel before you hear this hum again. Another 25 seconds goes by, and crack! There's a streak of lightning that goes from this straight across and strikes somewhere in that vicinity.
We're all in the room and
Yeah.
saw this.
You're all at the doorway.
Having been used and been near and on the ship with the Griffin, is this familiar?
It's lightning.
Well, sure, but is it like mechanically familiar?
No.
Okay, so this isn't even like something to disable, at least in this room.
So all told,
Maybe.
55
tell.
seconds.
May,
Seems like about a minute.
A minute
may
between
I
each hit.
ask,
Yes.
Cool. Noted.
You said the lightning cracked in like the fist area
Somewhere in that region, yeah.
or landed,
Yeah.
and so what's that ring that you put on there?
The
Which-
ring
oh,
is where it's
that's
coming
where
from.
it came from.
That's where it came from.
It doesn't come from the
Oh,
same.
interesting.
So like this
Okay.
spot, this spot, that spot, this spot, this spot, and maybe another one somewhere. Like
I'm gonna keep my
are
hand out
are
for a
like
second.
panels that. You
One
know.
more minute.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
After
not.
a
I'm not
minute.
trying to get in.
There's a crack of lightning that emits from here and lands somewhere in that vicinity.
Right, which is where the water's falling down.
Yes.
They strike in minute intervals, and it's random.
Well,
Okay.
all right, let's go.
So let's walk all the way around.
I'm gonna make sure all of my metal is sheathed. And I'm
Okay.
gonna tell Thistle to do the
Something
same.
like that would
and
help,
tell him
but-
to crouch.
Over, he kind of says, "All right, I don't really have a whole lot of metal, but I'll crouch." And he kind of crouches down.
Just
He's
hunch
still,
a bit, yeah.
still like 5'10", something like that.
It's an attempt.
Ovar kind of
It's
looks from
appreciated.
one of you to the other, and then looks down at his full set of plate mail.
Yeah, I'm like, well, you're fucked, but you're not part of our party anyways, and you're all about meeting your gods. Probably a pretty fast track to do that.
Well, you said it's a minute.
Yeah.
Why don't we just run through?
We don't have to even run through. We can just go all the way around.
I'm gonna run through.
All
Because,
right, well, you can run through, but I'm just going to go all the way around.
All right. Ovar kind of waits. and
But
waits.
also, there's 2 other places that are open that we haven't even been through. I want to go check those out first.
Well, let's.
And that doesn't even involve crossing the middle. Like, why don't we just go and check
there's
out
a
this
crack
spot?
of lighting, and Ovar bolts.
I'm gonna let him do that, I guess. We need him to lift a stone, but if he dies, it's not one of us.
Good luck.
I mean, this is 6 seconds. You can run this
Yep,
far,
that's
so it
6
doesn't
seconds.
matter.
Are you guys doing anything else in the meantime?
I'm gonna start walking towards the door that I see to the.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go that way too.
So
So like,
your group
over.
begins to shift.
If you want to join us, we're gonna be over here.
Without too much trouble, he makes it over here.
Good job, buddy. We'll be over there in a little bit.
You hear from the other side of the room, "You know this is your trial."
Yeah, but there's a door over here.
Wait, which door are we going to?
So you head over to that door, and looking
Oh,
down.
why the hell did he go all the way?
He's a
over?
fucking idiot. He's got like stupid intelligence.
But I didn't even
And
know
then not
what
in the
door we were
positive.
going to. I don't think it was clear.
No, it doesn't matter.
As you
I'm
guys
shouting
get
to him where we're going. Because I don't think it was clear.
You hear? What do you shout to him?
We're going to this door. I don't think it was very clear.
It's okay, he's a simpleton.
Given the
For once, Gunter and I agree.
that's great. I'm gonna go through the. I'm gonna get this door open, and then it'll be ready when you
All right, we'll
guys.
get it
go.
open in less than a minute because, and then I point out to the panel that's like that might fire off, and you're close to it, so it's probably gonna arc on you and
You
kill
do
you.
hear the humming beginning.
Yeah.
Let's go. I don't want to see this.
Yeah. Does it kill him?
Actually,
Well, because this
I'm
hasn't
gonna
been a
yell
fucking
at-
minute.
okay.
To be fair, this hasn't been a minute yet.
I would.
This is
that
all
whole
within, like,
conversation
he
that
ran-
happened
Yeah, it's been a
with
it's-
with him running across. Yes, it certainly has.
I'm going to scream, take it off!
No.
He turns and just goes, "What do you mean?" As this crack of lightning strikes across and hits the ground somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Good.
What do you mean?
Never mind. Go through the door.
Nothing.
I wanna-
That's what I'm trying to do. I
Okay.
don't know. All right, yeah.
See
You
you.
guys-
See you over there. See you over there. And then
We'll see you on the
I'm
other
just going.
side.
I'm just going.
All right, there's storage rooms.
How do you know?
Have you been here before?
No, but I actually worship this god, so I've been
I
to
don't.
churches
So
of his. So
whatever.
Well, you know, different strokes for different folks, buddy.
Not really.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going in here.
You can hear him now wrestling with the mechanism. You
So-
guys,
So
head
Gunter and
around
I
this
just
door.
go over here.
It is open. It's an open stone archway, and you can see down there are stone steps that lead to what looks like probably an empty, maybe storage room of some kind, a cloister perhaps, but it's an empty stone room.
Okay.
And
Completely
turning around,
empty.
completely empty.
Okay.
There, I mean, there's dirt, there are scraps of broken wood and things, but there's nothing substantial.
Do I need to roll a quick investigation for anything possibly in here, or is it pretty clear that there's nothing in here?
Roll a quick investigation. There's litter on the floor.
Anything
After
good?
the next
I don't know.
I'm joining Ovark.
Okay,
My
you
guy.
can move yourself over. No problem.
My
You
guy.
can get
My
that.
guy. Hold on. That's a 24.
Okay,
How
Picking-
cool is this dirt? Just kidding, but actually what I see.
sure. You want to know how cool the dirt is?
No, I want to know
Picking
what I
through elements of this, you find that there are bits of wood, oak to be precise, very, very shiny and kind of varnished on one side and stained a deep red on the inside. Kind of sniffing at it, you get notes of cherry and oak and vanilla. This was used to store wine. It
Was.
appears at some point,
Okay.
a very long time ago.
Okay.
Picking through bits, you find nails, you find some
Nails?
supplies. Nails,
Oh, damn it.
sorry.
Sounded like a good room.
You find like scraps of iron that look like they might have at some point been used by a cooper to bind barrels together.
Oh, I got it.
But you don't find anything.
Yeah, it's more just like communal
especially-
wine room shit.
24.
Yeah.
The very, very back corner, you
Uh-huh.
do find what looks like a silver candlestick.
Uh-huh.
Unique to this point in
Uh-huh.
that it appears to be very ornate,
Mhm.
elvish in design. Towards the foot of
Strange.
it, there are 4 leaves that kind of spread out that stabilize the actual structure itself,
Yeah.
and each leaf stem leads to kind of wind up into the stick.
Okay.
There are elements of melted wax, but outside of that, not much.
I'll pocket it.
Sure. Yeah, you can add a silver candlestick to your
Dope.
inventory.
And then I'm gonna go.
Elvish, if that matters.
Sure. Follow over to the other room and do the same
No
thing.
halvesies
But
on
like,
that.
I.
You
You
guys-
didn't see
I'm
that.
saying I would go in
I see
and
you
I'd
putting it
find
in your
males.
pocket.
I know.
Hey,
That's true. You do. You find males within the room.
I don't think I'm gonna follow them. I think I'm just gonna watch this lightning, but not in the room because this door is open, right?
Correct.
I'm leading over to. I'm leading Gunter. I'm like, Gunter, there's nothing in here. Sorry, it's just it used to hold wine, and then I just like barge right by him, knowing that he saw me take the candlestick, and just like brush by him and be like, all right, other room, and I
all right,
stop.
but if you're taking that, I get dibs on whatever's in the next room.
Nope. And then I stop right here, and I kind of, and I stop and I wait for the next lightning bolt.
Okay.
Not in any wet area. Very
I'm
much
gonna
trying to.
get right next to him and be ready. And I'm gonna ready. A
What to
trick
loot
action
my body
when
to loot my body.
he tries to move so that I can.
I mean, I
move
can
to the
fucking
next
see
room.
that, right?
No,
He didn't
like-
say he was trying to do it stealthily.
No,
To be
like,
fair,
Make an insight check.
but he didn't. He didn't
Make
say
an
that he was trying to do it
insight check.
stealthily.
You look over
I'm,
and you
like,
do see
holding my
Gunter, but he
staff.
always looks shifty, so it's
holding my
difficult to
staff.
I
tell.
think this at advantage at
Gunter
least
is
because I'm
Yes, I'll
very
perma
fucking
sus.
wary of this
I'll
guy.
give you advantage.
Always
Perma
wary of
sus.
this guy.
Based on how you've treated him, I will give you advantage.
Yeah,
on
so I
that.
got a 17 and an 18 insight. Yeah, 18.
The dirt is
Against
super cool.
my
18.
shifty
Oh, fuck off. Yeah, dude, that shit.
4
Stupid ass
deception.
4 deception.
My shifty four.
You look
Yeah,
over
work on
and
your
you see,
charisma, bro.
you see Gunter's one kind of crazy eye
Yeah.
peering out, and every now and then looking at your feet.
The
and
other
he
one
kinda-
looking straight ahead. It's just like,
Yeah, and there's one that just kind of looks at your feet, and you see the staff. He's kind of like measuring where
I'm
to
gonna
stick the
step
staff.
over it and then kind of like scoot it backwards with my heel, and I just look at him, like kind of just looking down and being like,
Crack! There's a crack of lightning.
and then I just take off.
You guys bolt across. For
right.
those of you who have not heard any of this exchange, all of a sudden you just hear Gunter screaming, and the two of them look like they're just tearing,
Dead run.
racing.
Just dead run.
They are not racing the
I'm
lightning.
still
They are
trying to
very
tr-
clearly racing. each
In
other.
the weirdest
As
way,
we're going
I'm
across.
pointing out right now.
mine.
In the weirdest way right now, I'm feeling like Heinrich is feeling very giddy and like he hasn't felt happy and positive in a long time. This is actually kind of like a fun, silly moment. So he's
Yeah.
relishing that for like a sec.
It seems like you guys have figured out the
There's like a
timing.
weird bonding,
Face
kind of like
plants.
there's like a
It's
weird
like
bonding
you
in this like
once raced your
stupidness,
brother back
like
in the day.
understanding someone who's just trying to like fuck with you but not
In the
actually
fields
cause
of
harm.
Torquid.
It's that kind of like good feeling, you know
Almost
what I mean?
like a brother.
Exact.
Sure.
Until
Exact.
you face plant and get electrocuted.
Almost like a 287-year-old brother.
Unfortunately, you are not as fast as Heinrich.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Heinrich
Your
is able to
dexterity
keep-
is high. No, it's not. Mine is fine.
It isn't. You are unable
So-
to keep up with Heinrich, and Heinrich does beat you by
Right.
a little bit.
Hey!
So we, if you, do you wanna? I'll
You guys
wait.
reach the door.
Shoot me over.
Just
Oh,
right
we're
to the
kinda
entrance and just stop the
Turns
entrance.
around.
So can we go?
And
No,
then
not yet.
Run in here.
All right. His hands are still just like on the wheel.
I mean, you can go.
Oh, well.
I
that's
told
okay.
you we'll
Let's go.
see you on the
Let's
other
go.
side.
I think I'm
Let's go.
gonna dash on the after the next lightning
Okay.
bolt, and I'm gonna tell Thistle to run with me
Okay.
as fast as you fucking can.
Okay.
After.
You have like the
obviously.
weirdest love-hate bromance. It's
As
the
Ovark
weirdest,
begins
like,
turning
meet
this
you and
wheel,
let you impale to die, and then
as Ovark begins turning this wheel, you turn and you're like, on the next lightning strike, we're gonna run.
Around the water.
Okay. And he smiles and goes, "Got
There's
it."
no around.
And there is this kind
Oh,
of
it's all water?
brief
It's all water.
hum.
Nope.
the
It's
whole-
wet.
I
It's wet.
misunderstood. I thought it was
it's
just
raining.
the fist for some reason.
It's that strip that the fist is a part of that goes from one end to the other. That's all wet. Not like
Okay, well, if
water.
there's
all
no
wet.
evading, then we're just gonna go the quickest path.
Okay. So you,
It'll
as you
take
wait,
you 12 at most seconds to cross that.
there's a crack and you just sprint across. You hear from behind you, "Wait, what?" And as you make your way across, you see Thistle is still back on the other side. You getting over there, you kind of turn around. He goes, "Sorry, what did you say?"
After this next crack of lightning, run as fast
takes a
as you
step
can.
forward.
No,
What?
not yet.
Oh,
When I say go, run
He's
as
still
fast
high.
as you
It's
can.
been like an hour.
I gave him a lot of weed, and he has a lot of weed.
he has other things.
He has other things.
You guys
So
have other things too.
you wait, and as there's the crack of lightning, you yell.
Come here. Fast.
Oh, and he just kind of
Fast.
like he speed walks. He doesn't run. He just kind of walks
Run.
really quick.
Run.
Oh, and he takes off running, and it's
Sprint.
kind of scary. It's like a dum dum dum. He's big, but he just kind of comes to a stop, like very much cartoon, like heels skidding in the wetness. But he finds his footing. Was that good?
Yeah, let's open this door.
All right. He goes over and kind of pushes Ovark out of the way and just turns the wheel, and the door does like kind of rise up just a little bit, rise up a little bit. Ovark, again, you see his pupils dilate ever so slightly. The door is open.
Cool. So
I'm
Gunter and I are checking
ushering
out this room.
them in.
So they can
Everyone
leave
but
the room,
me.
I
You
guess.
guys all
yeah,
begin
the
to
four
kind
of
of
us are
crowd in.
going. Yeah.
What's in the storage room?
The other one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna go look at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're like,
I'll
As
let,
you guys all
I
go
like
through
let
it.
him walk in because I'm like
I'm kinda
feeling
like, I
kind.
nudged my way past guidance.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
The two of you make a perception check, or you make a perception check, rather.
Both. Oh, cool. Even with guidance, it's still 10.
Perfect.
Ooh, good, because mine
I'm
was
done. Why not investigation like last time?
passive perception 14.
Because you're looking from outside. You're not looking through
We
and
went
picking
in.
through. Oh, are you going in?
Yeah,
Make an
we're going in,
investigation
like,
check.
sweeping the room.
Make an
Wait, guys.
Well,
so
shit.
investigation
That's
check.
Yeah, I like elbow my way past.
That's much better. Investigation. 20.
Okay.
20 on the
Still
dot.
passive
Singer was-
perception.
With like
Listen,
with 2
I'm
dice
taking
and
the way to work.
a modifier.
There are still like scraps of wood and bits of draped cloth and a lot of cobwebs, but you notice that a lot of these broken scraps of wood different than the other room. They appear to be elements of like framing.
Okay.
Like they may have gone around something. It may be molding. It's kind of hard to tell because it's old, mushy
sure.
wood. Elements of rain have seeped down the stairs, and so it,
Stairs?
Yeah, so there's like four, like maybe this far down. There's like four stairs that go
down into this room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Into like a mini cellar.
Yeah, it's like it is very much like a cellar. Outside of that, there's nothing super nifty in here.
Okay. And I grabbed some of the. Did you say there's fabric or something?
Yeah, and it looks like maybe at one point it was white. It sounded like a really eggshell yellow, but
Gross.
it probably was used to cover furniture.
Any nice wood or anything that could pass for a very nice piece of craftsmanship of something?
You look at the wet pieces of wood and the old cloth.
Anything?
Not especially.
I grabbed a piece of really nice, the nicest piece of wood that I see.
Sure. Add a wet piece of maple to your inventory.
Well, I'm holding it, and I'm like, here you go. It's the nicest thing I could find in the room.
Smack it out of his hand. I say, I don't want that garbage, and I walk away.
Into the wetness.
I'm just like, I'll try it.
Okay. You guys walk out back to the other door, presumably.
I like kind of
Yeah.
linger for a second, just like watch Gunter walk, and I'm like, later.
I'm going into the door
Okay.
that they open.
Yeah, same.
As you guys walk through this door, there is a similar stone hallway, a slightly different arrangement. You can see, though, almost directly in front of you, there is an open doorway that goes into what looks like a kitchen, fairly large. You can see there's one very, very long tile counter. There are no pots and pans. It looks like those probably were looted very, very early on.
Sure.
You can see very, very far beyond. Now that the braziers are lit, there's two large braziers in the room.
Yep.
You can see beyond. There's two huge banquet tables that are set up. Most of the chairs are broken or in other states of disrepair, and the table itself does have these like big kind of green patches. But it looks pretty unused. Beyond, there is another door. I would say in this hallway, the smell is slightly different. There is like a sourness to the air.
I'm looking around for balls.
Do you want to elaborate on that, or?
I don't think Gunter would.
No, I don't think you would.
I think that's literally what he thinks.
Yeah, I'm looking
Balls!
For, I'm looking for the last two orbs.
Make a perception check, unless you're entering the room.
Yeah.
Entering the room?
Yeah.
Investigation check.
I'll
Yeah.
get the roll. 14.
14. In terms of spherical objects, you find none. You do find a couple of like
It's
kind of
not a
rusted
secret,
metal
but it's just-
spoons. You find an old fork. They're all very utilitarian in design. But you don't necessarily see anything that is spherical or like a stone or of any kind.
Where are the balls?
I'm still behind everyone. I guess Gunter pushed past everyone.
I guess, yeah, just to walk into the
Yeah,
kitchen.
I'm like at the back of the group.
Oh, we would have
Where's Morwen?
entered the room.
Hi.
Do
Right
I,
here.
do I see Morwen?
Yeah, right next to you.
Okay.
Where are you guys?
Other than
that-
Gunter, you guys are all kind of clustered around the door.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go the fuck in.
I feel like we would have entered the room.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You walk into the kitchen.
Cool.
It's a kitchen.
Cool. Any other points of egress in this room?
Not that you can tell. You can make an investigation check if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Damn it.
9.
With the 9, I mean, you see that there are fire pits, probably at some point used for cooking, although they don't seem to work on the same principles as the braziers. They're cold.
How-
You can see there is 2 clay ovens that are used probably to bake, although those are also cold.
Yep.
There is like an empty sort of closet that seems like it might have been dry storage at some point.
But it's cold.
There are it's the same temperature as everything else. There is like elements of kind of a big hunk of rusted metal, a machine of some kind that is rusted over to the point where it's hard to tell. With the 14, I mean, you do see that there's
No,
like
it's
a
a 9.
handle. A 9?
Yeah,
You see that there's a lot of rust attached
Cool.
to this machine.
it's a machine.
It is a machine.
Okay.
Was at some point.
Was, sure.
Other than that, not a lot.
Is
Anywhere.
it very obvious when we were running through the room that this is the other side of this stained glass?
Yes.
Okay.
You can see the mirror in reverse, although it is slightly smaller.
I'm kind of just like curious. I'll say this out loud, as Marin. Like, why did we go into this room without like
There were no other
placing
rooms
all
on
the
the other
orbs?
side. Are there any
I
other
feel like
doors
there
that
was
we haven't seen?
more of the gymnasium that we
So
didn't
from-
explore.
So from the kitchen,
And
if you walk out of the kitchen,
kitchen.
from the kitchen, if you were to like, so you know the hallway that you just walked into the kitchen from, there's more hallway to the left.
Oh,
This is the
I
first
thought this
door
was
that
the
you
only-
saw. No. There's,
Okay.
You can see one more door, then there's like a right bend, and you don't see anything beyond that. But
Oh, okay. Well,
there
I'm
is
just like,
another door.
cool, a kitchen. I don't need anything in here. And I just back out and I start walking down the hallway looking for other doors.
I
And
look for-
there's
I look
one
for
maybe
food.
30 feet away.
I'm following.
There is no food. You don't actually even smell like rot or necessarily. There's a sour smell in the air in general, but you don't find anything that's even like kind of gross
probably
old
an
food.
ooze, and we want to avoid combats.
is there a plate?
Yeah, there's several plates, some broken, some not, but they're all earthenware.
Well, watch out for mold. I say as I like stick my head back. I'm like, watch out for mold, and then I just
And when
go
you
back.
oh, damn it.
Who are you calling old?
And I
Who's in
I'm
the
laughing
kitchen
to
with me?
myself in the hallway, but I
Right
don't
now
let
it's
anyone
Thistle.
see that.
Shay presumably is at the door, or I don't know if you've entered or not.
Probably.
So you've entered. So Shay, you, Heinrich is now left. Gunter is in there. Ovark is still in the hallway.
I'm gonna take one of the plates and go, think fast.
Who are you
And
throwing
frisbee
it
it
at?
to Shay.
Shay. Okay. Shay.
I think she'll catch it.
There's a plate coming right at you.
Would catch it or attempt to.
How? What are you doing to catch it? Is my question.
Kind of a reflex thing. Like if it's coming at my face, I'm going to like catch
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stop it.
Make it.
Punch it. Just punch it back
Make
to
a dexterity
me.
check. Add your proficiency
Oh
modifier.
my god, I can't wait for you to like frisbee catch spin around your back.
That's what I was hinting at.
Decapitation.
If it's over 20, you're gonna get hit in the face more.
21.
You no problem. Just catch it out of the air.
I kind of look at it like.
Over here. Over here. And I start moving to catch it.
I just put it down on the counter.
Okay. Yeah.
Sick.
And your
You-
tail just goes.
Oh.
Completely
Gunter, what do you-
flaccid.
I'm going into the room down the hall from the kitchen.
So you're
That's
following
what-
Hunter.
Yeah, and that's where I was gonna
Yeah.
go and investigate too.
Yeah.
The two of you come to another iron door. This one on the same wall that the kitchen is from, but about
Sure.
30 feet down, so a
Okay.
different room. As
Got
you
a
get
wheel,
closer,
or-
there is the sour smell gets stronger. There is a wheel to turn.
Is there any like gas in the air? Can I tell?
Because
Because the
Just
torches and
mine.
shit. So
make,
like,
make a survival check. You see that there are lit torches along the hallway, so if there are gases, they're inert.
right. Just like smell to recognize the smell.
Sure,
Honestly,
yeah.
I've smelled a lot of smells living in a port city.
Sure.
Any of these familiar? What was the roll?
It's going to be it's going to be a history check if you're going to try
Can
to
I be
recall.
proficient in it? No, doesn't make any sense. So.
Guidance.
7.
Ah!
What do your
Tiefling nostrils
What
smell.
does your tiefling nose smell?
What was it? History?
It is very sweet.
History?
Yes.
11. If
You've
it's familiar,
smelled, you've
that's
smelled
cool.
this before. It is the smell of like sour, rotten cheese.
Oh, okay. It's cheese.
I like cheese.
Well,
I'm gonna look for cheese.
I'm gonna let him go first.
The smell is getting stronger as you get closer to that door that the wheel is
Open
attached
the
to.
door.
I'm gonna stand.
And I'm
not.
Strength check, please.
I'm not standing in front of it just in case anything like outs of
Sure.
it. I'm like
Both the same.
backing down a little bit.
That's a 5.
You watch as
Ugh.
Gunter again for the third time grips this wheel and cannot seem to
I'm
move.
gonna give him. I'm gonna help so we can both try this at the same time.
Give it a strength check.
Like he gets these and I get these.
You can
and
either
we
have
both
him
go
roll at
1, 2,
advantage, or
3.
you could make
Him at
So
advantage.
roll one more time.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Also a 5.
Okay.
We wait like how
Gunter
long
kind
it
of like
takes.
shoos you off and doesn't accept
We
your
wait,
help.
we wait long enough to be able to try again logically.
Make another roll.
All right, at advantage because I'm helping. As long as they're not coming, at least.
Good, they haven't.
Oh my god, dude, go back to your metal dice. Go to your cool dice.
What
Roll
are you
your
guys
cool
doing?
dice.
You can hear Gunter struggling with something out there.
I'm gonna
Okay. You look,
getting
and
old,
Gunter
man.
is just
Going
his
back.
hands sliding onto the wheel, just making no purchase
look.
whatsoever.
I'm gonna just be like,
The highest roll out of 4 was
This'll-
a 9.
this will
With
do. I'm
modifier.
helping him out.
No, I love help.
It was actually.
I know.
An
Wait,
eight,
All of
sorry.
a sudden,
hug
there's
before you
a
go.
yep.
Hug before you go.
Okay.
Jesus
And he
fuck.
goes down and gives you a big hug. He releases you and
Just
walks
a bit.
over, and you, before you can do that, unfortunately,
Wow.
he
Wow.
walks
a 9.
up and you see this kind of shadow, and turning behind Thistle is right over, and he reaches around for a hug, and as he does, his arms grab onto the wheel, and he very easily just turns it.
I loosened it for you, and I pushed
Again.
the door.
As the door opens up, I need everybody within 10 feet to make a Constitution
God damn it,
saving
I was trying to
throw.
back up for this
Heinrich, I
whole
do not
thing.
need you to roll.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank God.
And if
that's
it's
a big
poison too, don't
number,
forget
so-
you're a dwarf.
Yeah, it's 21.
Oh, excuse
so
me.
it should
Sorry,
be
Mike.
fine. As long as it's
Who's
not
Mike?
So as soon as the door cracks open, there's this stench of rotting fish.
For me to know,
Hey.
you
about
to
Mike?
find out.
That sour taste of cheese, rancid milk. It's just
didn't know
pure
about Mike?
decay that rolls out of this doorway. Thistle drops to his knees and just vomits on the ground.
Oh, I rushed to
you
his
just start
aid.
Constitution saving throws. You
Sorry,
run
am I
up.
in the area of effect
No
of this,
Jumanji.
technically?
Oh, it smells like wet
No Jumanji. No
farts.
Jumanji.
Jumanji went
Jumanji.
deep.
Oh,
I got
Oh,
it.
it's over here.
I got
that's an easy enough grab.
It wasn't for me.
It smells like wet farts in here.
Don't do that roll.
All right.
That's my roll.
Some of it got in my mouth.
What was your save?
21.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
11.
11?
I'm like scraping my tongue.
With an 11. Sorry, with an 11, you feel the bile rise up in your throat. You actually taste like this little
That
bit
little
of the
acidic,
bread that you
nasty-
ate earlier, and then you swallow it back down. You do not throw
I
up.
mean, I'm Mormon.
You guys
I've
wanna
been
do another
hungover
shot?
before. I can swallow some puke.
Do you guys want to do
looking,
another shot?
Yeah.
looking into this room, you can see that there are. You know what? It is 10:30
Oh shit! No, wait.
And so
Describe the
we're-
room. Describe the room.
to go to a break. So
Ah,
when we come
so
back, I will
wrong.
describe the room. There will be a visual, and we will continue with our adventure. It is
Yay.
10:40. We will be back because we're ending. Are you guys cool with taking kind of a shorter break, just like a 10-minute
Yeah,
break?
dude,
Back,
that's
yeah.
fine.
So we'll be back at 10:50. We will see you then. Oh, and we're
I'll
back.
get you back when I can. Sorry.
Welcome back,
Don't worry
everybody.
about
Sorry
it.
we were just a couple minutes late, but we are here. Thank you very much for sticking with us through the break.
Sharing is
A
caring.
little bit of a quicker break this evening because we
For
are going to be
whatever
ending
reason.
just a hair early at 12 o'clock probably, right around there.
If any candy.
Yeah, it was rough.
I need a different flavor.
Here, have a sip of this.
What is it?
It's orange beverage.
Orange beverage.
All right, I trust that more than what I have right now.
So enjoy your orange beverage. For those of you just joining us, the Finger Gang this evening has managed to secure the Firestone into its place. They have just now opened up a door, opening up into just a room full of rot and ruin.
I was promised a visual.
The smell. Oh, right. I totally forgot over the course of our break because I was talking the whole time. So,
Keep describing. I'll roll it up. I got it.
give me a second. I gotta.
No, okay.
We should
We're just gonna layer.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
just layer.
Just layer.
They'll
Yeah,
probably
just-
come back out.
Well, think of it like as we progress, the rooms will be in this order when we
That's
unprogress.
fair.
So,
That's fair.
unprogress,
Unprogress.
deprogress, depress.
Reverse progress.
Well, as we get depressed.
when we're depressed.
We're already depressed. It's fine.
That's true. The world we live in today.
It's 2019. Everyone's depressed.
Real talk. Done.
So-
You suffer from depression. Be
The
sure
door
to
that you guys.
Like and subscribe.
The door that you guys are at.
Holy shit.
Right here.
Yeah, I don't know.
feeling anxious?
Place
Me
yourself
do
around the
too.
door however you
Like,
like.
and
I mean,
subscribe.
since I'm not affected, everyone else is on their knees vomiting. I'm just like, what? And I
I'm
walk
like,
in.
oh,
I'm
walk in?
not.
I like
I'm-
step into the entrance
I'm
of the door and I
scraping
look
out
in.
my tongue. I'm like, oh, it's gross. It's like
I'm just
I'm
You
chuckling
step
to
into the
myself.
entrance of the door. You
Yeah.
see Thistle throwing up Morwen suddenly. Somehow beneath her fur, you see like there's the faint elements of skin around her eyes kind of get a little
she's
pale.
doing the cat thing where she's like,
Mhm.
And the hair sticking up a
Yeah,
little
hair's
bit.
That weird
definitely
white
sticking
part of like the behind the eyelids starts to like slightly cover your eyes.
Even
You're like,
Ovar, you
"Ugh."
hear like metal shift as he covers his face and kind of shies away. You step into the door, and I need everybody but Heinrich to leave the table.
Cool. Get the fuck out of here. Go on the
Well,
porch.
Well, I am.
No, go on the porch.
Oh.
Leave.
Oh, I
Get
did-
out of here.
Wait, it's
Go.
you?
Go away.
It's
Did I not make this comment earlier?
Go away.
Oh, you suck.
Get out of here.
Oh, you're so.
I'm not affected by it, so
I don't know you.
yeah, you don't. It's like we're playing Betrayal.
Yeah, a little bit. I actually kind of thought about that as I was setting this
Well,
up.
too bad that's not a good board game. It's just a fun experience.
I think that if you role play the entire time,
Well, that's why it's a fun
it
experience.
is great.
I judge board games by mechanics.
Is that like the sign that you would wear, like the shaming sign?
That's my gatekeeping for the night. Okay, get out of here. Wait in a few seconds, and good.
Okay. So, let me pull up a sound here real quick.
I'm gonna put on my headphones so I can hear it better, because oddly enough, your mic and Tina's mic combined to.
Sure.
Oh, okay. I know this one. One of my favorite podcasts uses Sirenscape, so I know literally all these things you've been playing.
So as you enter the doorway, you're aware of the smell
Mm.
and of the foul presences around you,
Mm.
but at the same time you're not. It's as if you're looking at a screen that somebody muted. You can tell that it's unpleasant, but it doesn't bother you. And all at once, it's as if your dark vision goes out. You're in a black space. You feel your feet even on something. And then you feel the fingers a little bit longer than they should be, a little bit more flat than they should be. A hand gently rest on your shoulder.
I don't.
Oh.
I don't react. I
Dear
just kind of like
Makavir.
stand there.
Dear Makavir, you use the power well.
I'm like, I kind of straighten up, hearing my true name.
It seems almost like some kind of gauzy curtain moves in the darkness and a figure illuminates beyond,
Mm.
ever so slightly distorted by whatever waves slightly in front of you. You see, familiar to you, a hooded figure, perhaps a robe over leather armor, a bandit from the shaded wood. And he smiles at you, and maggots drip from his mouth, his skin discolored and bloated in places, each patch ever so slightly wriggling as if something lives underneath. The curtain moves, And this time you see in front of you a bloated corpse, purple skin, distended belly, and even as the salt water drips from the black cloth and the familiar unicorn emblazoned on the front, each drip becomes a black and purple fleshy toadstool just erupting from the ground. The curtain moves again, and you see the severe yet beautiful face of a woman, twisting up to rotting corpses of snakes. There is no mist around her, but as the bugs and dead things pick at the dead and naked body of Tasada, she continues to smile, bugs wriggling through the spaces between her teeth. There is a whew, and everything goes dark. Markavir, there is one more that I want. The curtain flishes again, and this time you see in front of you an orange-skinned tiefling, although you see her from the shoulders up. Bright orange, almost like a day-warning glow. A shock of violent white hair that erupts short enough that you can still see just the two devil horns tilting slightly back over her head. And as she smirks ever so slightly, you see the fabric of reality itself begin to unwind behind her. The image disappears. Dear Markavir, take this person for me. Return them to the ground where they belong. When you help the portent helps you. Do this for me, and I will rid you of that ghastly spectre, and give you something more worthy of one who wields the blade. But Markavir, you haven't proven yourself yet. Fail. Well, you look down and you feel the flesh on your fingers tearing away, the blood itself becoming gelatinous worm-like structures, the skin stitching around, creating worms that pulsate off of your fingers. The pain is excruciating.
Yeah.
And suddenly you come to, sweat pouring down your face. No time seems to have passed. Roll a Constitution save. And we need everybody else back inside.
Con save is a 16.
You feel queasy. You feel all of the rot kind of rising into your nostrils. You smell spoiled milk, rotting cheese, fish.
Everything from this room.
But you choke it back now.
Yeah, okay. I can now, just for sure, because of the shock of this all, like, recall that person. I would immediately identify them if I saw them in the world, right?
You didn't see the person. You never came
No,
around.
not the person, not the voice.
Oh, that
the
tiefling? Absolutely.
Yeah, like,
yes.
there's nothing but that.
Closing your eyes, it's like the negative of something that just flashed again, so you can still see the image.
And one more time, the bloated corpse of the person that was Tasada.
You would recognize it. The bloated corpse was...
Tasada was like the one who I ran my blade through in the
Yes.
underground after the Myconid type thing, and I got the symbology that kind of like followed through. So that one was a plus for my person, and the next one is a next mark, if you will.
It seems so.
Okay.
Guys, there's a party next door. Bumpin'.
Yeah,
Right?
they have a pool table. What the fuck?
They have a pool
We walked
table?
outside.
Yeah,
There were
in their
seriously
living
like
room.
20 people walking in the door.
All
And
right.
we walked out.
Fantastic.
I have a. I have a
We were
main
Chad
quest.
watching.
You said orange?
Orange.
Okay.
What's orange?
I don't say that out loud.
I walk into the room.
Chad?
Okay. You walk into the room. You can look and see in front of you to the right, there are a number of boxes, all of which seem to have, or most of which anyway, seem to have this kind of goop that has oozed out from the bottom.
Music change. Change the mood. Set it off. Because this is my mood. This is not their mood.
Damn.
Ouch.
Thematic. Once there's a spot where we have that's like, you know, we can set it up permanently, like, I'll run the sound because I got this shit on lock.
One of the problems that I'm also finding is for whatever reason, every now and then, it just like resets itself.
Probably the
So-
same way that the stream's dipping.
Maybe,
Your connection is
it's
probably,
Probably.
you know
like your
what, you're
presets
probably
go
right.
away and all that stuff.
So yeah, I don't have my preset for this. However, I'll just give it a nice little.
Just look for
Oh God!
Holy shit! The cheese laughs at everyone!
Bowser.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't really know what that is. So we're not going to use that.
No, just mute that shit.
I will give you guys.
Indoor crickets?
Yes, indoor crickets.
I did have a great flies and all that stuff, but
That's all
presets
good.
go away. So, you walk in. Oh, it's so nice in here.
Yeah, it's so pleasant in
You
here.
can see, I'm going to turn off the daytime ones. You can see that there are.
Smells like frying cheese.
It smells like rotting cheese. You smell elements of decaying seafood. This whole room just smells of pestilence, and there are flies heavy within the air. Even from this distance, with the lights now on, you can see that there are maggots wriggling through elements of this.
Are there any balls in here?
process.
I don't know. I just walked in. No time has passed. Come on in.
I'm looking around for balls.
Make an investigation check. What are you doing, Shay?
Hanging way back.
Yeah, this is a bad smell.
Hanging way back.
That's a 10.
Okay. Looking through, you do find, in terms of spherical shaped things, every now and then on the ground there are toadstools, kind of black and purple. Other than that, you don't necessarily. There's two large barrels up against sort of an opening, the door, and beyond that, you do see elements of grass on the packed earth.
I'm gonna go see what's in the barrels.
Okay. Looking over, they're empty, although you see what looks like water standing around them. At some point, these were probably cisterns.
I'm gonna continue through the door,
Sure.
looking for more balls.
Anybody else doing anything?
I'm just kind of slowly walking
Is
around the
Thistle
room, like
recovered?
I'm absent-mindedly looking around. I'm clearly a little disengaged from this investigation.
Sure. I'm not even going to have you make an investigation check. What are you doing?
I'm just like touching a crate and be like, oh, not a ball.
Is Thistle recovering?
He's still throwing up.
I'm gonna take some of that gauze that I got from way back when.
Sure.
And I'm going to open up one of my jars of pike leaf.
Okay.
Like, just like get some scent
Okay.
and put it on his nose so he feels a little better.
Make a medicine check.
Okay.
So we're all in here now. I'm like over here or something. And
I
you're
am decidedly
here.
not.
15.
You're not.
15?
No.
Okay. You do that, and Thistle, kind of between
Way
dry
back.
heaves, accepts
I'm
it
just
and
gonna
kind
do
of
this.
smells it, and just kind of. Thank you.
I give him a little bit more just to like wipe him off too.
Okay, and he takes it and dabs at the sort of weirdly like vibrant green foam that has kind of gathered at the edges of his lips, but cleans it off.
I'm going to do the same for myself too because I want to enter this room
Okay.
and I'm nauseous about
Are you
it.
smelling salty in yourself?
Well, I'm going
Basically.
to like give myself like a more
Weeding
pleasant
salt?
smell.
Smelling
and-
weed?
Yeah, smelling weed.
Oh, this calms me down.
No, but not
Just
with
the
weed.
smell
I
does,
think
definitely.
I'm just gonna like rub it against like a ration, like food.
Okay.
Some other scent.
You're looking. Okay, so you just kind of go through, and anything that smells like anything, you just kind of rub on it. It works a little. You definitely. It's intense. I mean, your eyes sting as you enter the room. You watch as Gunter disappears beyond into this archway. And he doesn't disappear. You see his back. Gunter, as you walk through.
Sorry, are there slang terms for pipeweed from different regions?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm like really looking forward to the
What do you
Pipeweed
cards
is-
know it as?
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
just
it's
thinking,
different on the West Coast.
Yeah,
You
I
actually
just
would know
want
it as
to
something
hear
different.
like how we have Alaskan thunderfuck and like all that kind of shit. I want to hear the funniest like.
Alaska Thunderfuck?
Alaskan thunderfuck is a weed strain that
Oh.
trans.
Doesn't really
Like a
exist
drag
up north.
Drag queen, yeah.
I can, in your lore, I can send you what the word is if you want. 'Cause
Can you actually
would
just
know.
I want
text it
that
to me?
shit.
I'd love to know that now.
It's not something that I'm familiar with overly.
It's called
Yeah.
the devil's lettuce.
Yeah. The Jin Yi Jin yeah.
We have our own
Because
strand
I'm just
of
not going to
drugs,
refer to it as pipe
and they're
anymore.
more
Okay.
psychedelics
Yeah,
than
well,
they
yeah,
are.
you got your fucking like psilocybin shit.
All one word. It just separated by autocorrect, but that's all one word.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
Gunter, as you step through the door, you see beyond. It's the same hard-packed dirt as the rest of this, but
What did it?
only up to a point.
You'll find out.
You can see quite clearly, as elements of it glow with an ethereal light, motes of green dust. Not dust. Very small fireflies that seem to just emanate from the ground and drift off and disappear. There's lush green grass that itself is encircled with small toadstools and other plants.
This must be a puzzle.
This must be the Earth Room.
Do you need me to...
No balls.
No balls.
that you can see.
Does
There are 3 stones that are part of that circle within the circle that grass.
anything look? Yeah. Does anything look like if I moved it, it would put it back in the right place, or like if I
Make an,
filled with things, it would like activate anything,
make an investigation
like
check.
a Korok?
Are you going? You're going right
Yeah.
up to the thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm not stepping on it, but
Okay.
I'm like going up to like the edge.
Okay.
And that was a perception.
Hmm? Investigation, because you're looking.
14.
14. Looking into the circle, you can see that there are a couple different varieties of toadstool. You see one big sunflower. There are 3 rocks, and there is this kind of arcane light growing, maybe runes that are kind of in it. Although there is also writing. It's not a language you speak. Maybe Elvish. You can see in the middle of the grass there is this wheel that you've been using to turn various doors. And kind of casting your glance about, you see there is an iron door with a missing wheel in the kind of an empty socket for a missing
Ooh,
wheel.
I'm gonna grab the wheel
Okay.
and I'm gonna
Break it.
bring
But then
over
mend
to
it
the
after.
door.
As you pick the wheel up,
Yeah. Kind of like how they do.
Okay,
Yeah.
make a
I'll go
dexterity. Make a dexterity saving throw. We're gonna call it.
19.
Okay. So as you lift up this wheel, there is an audible, and like now in your hands, tied with golden thread to this wheel is a pig. It has this almost. It has this almost. Okay, we're gonna get back to that.
Don't throw
You throw it.
I didn't throw it. I didn't throw it.
This pig is maybe about 20 pounds, and though it is this kind of bright pink, it is not quite a pig. You look at the ears, and they have this sort of elvish, sort of elongated part.
Pig
They have
is?
this silverish hair that goes down its back, and its tail extra spinny and long, but it ends in this kind of silvery brush tip as well. And it looks at you, and it has this almost joyous grin on its face, but it's still a pig, and it kicks and squeals. And you rolled a 19?
Yeah.
It bursts free from your hands. It gets onto the ground and kind of looks at you. It almost looks like it's smiling, and it bolts. We're going to say, just because I didn't think you'd actually drop the pig.
19 dropped the pig? What do you mean you didn't think
Yes.
he would
Oh,
drop
yeah.
that? Of course you would drop that if you
On
rolled
a
19 and
dex
couldn't hold on
I
to
didn't
it.
think you guys would pick a wheel up out of a strange glowing circle.
Oh, but
Can you pick
it's
like a?
stinker, so-
Oh,
Have
it's
you
not
made-
super
So
pink,
the pig
but-
kind of comes screeching to a halt, the dirt skidding up, and it kind of looks around.
Stop the pig!
Do I hear that?
biggest part of the puzzle!
Do I hear that?
Oh yeah, you definitely hear that.
Okay.
It's a puzzle pig! Quick, grab it!
What are you guys doing?
It's a puzzle pig. Well, I'm in the doorway.
Yes, you are.
I think, and
I'm
assume that's
ready for
probably,
this.
I
I'm
hear
ready
that.
for this.
So if I'm in the doorway, I'm gonna try to like block as much of the doorway as I can.
Okay, so you
Like to
just
the
kinda
exit of this whole
you,
room area?
You try to make as
Okay. No,
much
you don't
of a
even do
barrier.
Or like
Yeah.
no, I try to like goalie it, like
Okay.
squat and like.
I'm
Not
getting
the one
ready-
that
brace
Gunter's
myself.
through. You're talking about this one over here.
I'm readying something for the
Yes.
moment it comes through the doorway to our room.
Sounds good. Sure.
Would I even hear this?
Yep.
Not
You see Ovark as soon as he starts yelling to grab the pig, just take off at a sprint towards the door. Thistle
Wait,
looks
Over's
very
already in here, I
undecided.
thought?
Ovark?
Yeah.
Well,
You
his-
followed the last person in, yeah.
Yeah, so he's in. And you're not.
I am not.
Yeah.
And Thistle.
You still hear, he's
Thistle,
yelling.
I assume is Thistle. I don't know.
Not
if
reacting.
Thistle-
Thistle looks very nervous.
Yeah.
Not
Oh, so he's
Not
reacting.
staying.
reacting? Okay.
Alright.
Thistle is staying. All right, so.
I have something ready for as soon as as soon as I see him in the doorway.
Then I tell Thistle to help catch this pig if it escapes me.
Ovark comes up behind you. He sees the pig, which is kind of looking between you and him, and it seems like it's just waiting for one of you to act. And Ovark kind of smiles and just says, "Ha, I get it." And he draws his long sword.
No,
and
don't
kind of
kill
lays
the
himself.
pig!
Why?
Because it came out of the rock!
Yeah, this is a draconic saying.
What? What's it say?
What does
It's
the
like-
saying say?
It's like when you tell a kid that he's being an idiot, but just because he's not being like safe, you know, you're like, "Oh, you idiot," but it doesn't translate well to common
So why do you have to kill the pig?
because they're calling us idiots. Nobody calls an Ovark an idiot, swine or otherwise.
I'm in the doorway and saying, "Don't kill that pig."
That pig called us idiots?
So you move to the other doorway.
No, I'm shouting to him. Can I not hear
I'm
him?
gonna say
I
that
moved
you can't see
closer.
that there's a pig. You hear Gunter yelling about a pig, but you don't hear this conversation.
Fine, then I'm moving in.
Okay. How far in are you moving?
Enough to puke.
No, I've got my bandana on, so
Your
I
weed
hope that I'm
dana?
okay.
Weed
It's
dana.
not boot. It's not weed.
Dana.
No, the weed.
You now
dana.
see through like the gap between Ovark
But I'm
and
gonna
Gunter.
like hockey goal
Okay.
it still.
So you hockey goal
The more
behind
people that
you.
get into this area effect I'm about to do is the better. I can't wait.
Great.
Then I'm gonna tell him not to kill the pig
Not reacting.
Why?
because it's cute.
Do we need this wheel?
Yeah.
All right, we kill the pig, we get the wheel. The pig at this point is kind of looking really nervously back and forth between people.
Wait.
I'm still waiting only for the one that comes to the door.
Pick the pig up and put it with the wheel.
You want to go get the pig? You just drop the pig.
Well, yeah, because it startled me.
I'll get the
spooked
pig.
me.
Roll a persuasion check.
19 on a dex save.
Um,
Very spooky.
Very.
It is a 25.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you need
Sorry,
a
I
12.
was doing my
No worries.
This dude's a fucking
He
idiot.
kind of leans back a little bit and goes, "Go! I'm gonna kill it if it gets by, but go ahead."
Alright.
Okay. You step
I'm gonna
forward into the room.
Be like, you got it, and I'm guidance.
Okay, you are guidance.
Okay.
You're 10 feet away from the pig. As
And
you
it's,
step
like,
forward, it
has
takes
like
a step
weird
back.
hair on it and shit?
Yeah, it has like silvery hair going down the back.
Does it look like a
Does it look
fucked up magic pig to me?
No.
fucked up magic pig?
It has fey-like qualities.
Okay, so it's like
Sorry,
a
It's like a ferret pig.
very
It's a very big.
I thought you said, I don't know. Okay, so I'm trying to
Grab
not be
it.
meta
Sure.
about it.
Grab it.
But you were talking about Elvish. Was that just writing, or is there something?
Yeah,
about
there was
the
writing
pig?
on the stones by the circle. However, Mormon doesn't know that.
Okay, but there's nothing about the pig that's Elvish to me.
He has elvish ears. The ears themselves
Oh.
kind of go long.
I'm just
back
yelling,
into a
grab
point.
it! Grab it!
I'm gonna grab,
Grab
it.
it!
Okay, go ahead. Make an athletics check.
guidance.
Shut up! I have to do my math. Acrobatics check?
Acrobatics.
Miles. I'm sorry.
Providing a
Heimlich.
soundtrack.
Shut up.
What are you doing?
All right,
What is
so
it?
acrobatics. So it is a.
Oh.
Holy shit! Okay, so
30?
it's a 32.
Yo,
Damn.
this is our first 30 skill
So you
check
watch.
of the show.
As Morwen
No.
kind of like
I've done a natural
lowers
crit on
herself down into almost like a pouncing sort of stance.
Yeah.
Then the pig
That's
looks
the thing.
nervously back and forth, looks at Ovark and kind of looks at you. And suddenly you watch as its eyes flicker one way, you dart forward and you grab it. It doesn't even get a chance to bolt off the ground. You get it and just kind of land in the dirt. It squeals and kicks, but you hold tight. You have this pig in your arms.
Pull the wheel
While
out.
I have it, I'm going to try to comfort it.
Okay, make an animal handling check.
Once she's grabbed it, can I go
Oh,
over and try
farts.
to grab the wheel?
You start heading towards it.
Oh, 9.
Oh, it continues to kick and try to squeal. In fact,
Seeing the Elvish ears, can I tell it to calm down in Elvish? I choose to do that. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Noticing the Elvish ears, I try to soothe it in Elvish.
its feet are
Okay.
just squirming free of your grasp, and as you say that, all of a sudden you see the tail just kind of
Yes, pig wrestling.
unwind and go straight, and its ears kind of relax.
Shh, it's okay. I'm not
And you
gonna
hear
hurt
just
you.
contented little like little grunts as it kind of very like snuggles in. Gunter, you walk up and you.
And I think to myself,
I'm, like,
Thistle has
taking
got
the
to
wheel
see
off.
this.
Okay, yeah. You just kind of like you have to maneuver around because it's like huddled into Morwen now, but you kind of wrap enough of the rope to pull the wheel free. You have the wheel within your hands. You also have a pig.
I'm gonna go put
Waddles.
the wheel back into where it seems to be slotting into the door.
Gunter kind of
Use the
waddles
rope and
over
give
with
it
the
a-
wheel
give it a
to the gap
leash.
in the door. As he's doing that, what are you guys doing? You have a pig in your hands.
I'm still ready for like the moment it runs out because like I don't know this is happening. I'm just
Yeah.
like, did you get it?
Ah.
Did you get it?
Yeah, you can't
I
see it.
yell out loud, did you get it?
Oh, we got it!
Shh! Stop yelling. I have it. I have it.
I
You're
don't hear
startling
you. I'm like,
him.
you got it. Okay,
Her.
good.
You're
Yeah,
startling
we got
it.
it!
What's its name?
I don't know, it's a wheel!
Thistle,
I
Not
ask
the
it its
wheel.
name.
Thistle kind of walks over. It doesn't respond to you. Thistle walks over and says, "Oh, do you want to know its name?"
I would love to.
Ah, kind of turns over. Hey, little guy.
Better be Waddles.
What's your name? And he kind of leans in. It's Finjamin.
Finjamin?
Finjamin, yeah.
Oh,
what
good
he
Finjamin.
Ask Benjamin if there's balls around here.
seems not really my thing, but
Thistle, will you ask if Benjamin
each their
has
own.
seen one of the orbs that describe the orbs that we've seen?
yeah. Kind of leans in common. Hey, little guy, have you seen any orbs around here made of stone or glass or crystal or stone? And
Glass,
the pig
crystal,
kind of just
or
looks at
stone.
him. Doesn't seem to understand what he's saying.
I'm still embracing the pig and whispering calming thing. Not sweet nothing, but
Okay.
calming.
Calming
things.
nothings.
Calming nothings into this pig's ear.
Well,
The pig seems very
I want
content.
this pig to
Oh,
fucking trust me.
rest
I
of you
kind
guys
of like
doing
walk
anything?
towards the door and just see what's up.
Okay, you walk towards the door.
Or the doorway.
Okay, and peering in, you see what looks like a Fey circle.
Wait, hold on.
Elements of vegetation circling, lush grass bursting out of this packed dirt. You see a couple of toadstools, a
The
flower.
sickle's just pretty good.
You see,
That's a little dirty.
okay.
No,
You see what you want to see, man.
Yeah.
There are three
I mean, I am
stones that
actually
are glowing
bounced
faintly with
on
some
them.
kind of like a little bit of arcane runes. There's writing on it, elvish perhaps. You see that there is these sort of like stone slats. There's stone slabs that are laid out across, weirdly out of place in the rest of the packed dirt. You see the doorway that Morwen the pig and Gunter with the wheel are heading towards.
Pick up a rock and toss it into the circle.
Okay. As you pick up the rock, suddenly the light just goes out in all three of them in the grass.
No, not one of the rocks.
Okay.
Just like a rock.
Just
Like
a
something
pebble.
to toss into
You
the middle
pick
of
up a little pebble.
it. Yeah. Just like toss it into the middle of the circle.
You kerplunk?
Okay.
Kind of rolls to a stop in
Doesn't
the grass.
teleport anywhere.
No.
Chill. That's all.
Okay.
Gunter, put the wheel in the door. Let's keep this moving.
That's what I was doing.
Into
As
the
I
door.
put it into the door.
Shit,
And
what
I
are you
go
doing?
over
You still have an
I go
entrance.
over preemptively and start
Still
helping
Okay.
you because I know that
appearing
you have trouble with
disinterested.
doors.
Cool. Hanging out in the hallway.
Yep.
I preemptively
Yeah,
help
yeah.
Gunter with the door.
Okay, go ahead and
Strengthen.
roll advantage as
I'm
Heinrich
not
comes
in the
up and
room.
helps. Yep.
Oh,
I'm
I'm sorry.
not.
Shay is not coming.
That
up.
was
I saw
a
helping on
one.
door. I
Yeah.
misunderstood.
For once. And it just,
Not coming.
just pretty easy. The door just.
I feel like when Gunter exerts himself, his eyes widen even further.
Oh,
The more he yells, the
drift
more the
further
eyes
apart.
just like.
They just spin all the way around.
You're correct, though. You're not wrong.
like.
So, beyond this, you now Gunter peering into the door. This construction is slightly different than everything else that you have seen. There are long stone slabs that have been laid down. Although all elements of this room seem to come into a point, there's a slight incline, or a decline rather, towards these little, what look like metal shutters that have been placed into the ground. The walls kind of slope towards those shutters. There is what looks like, at some point, maybe a white painted circle, although elements of the paint have just scraped away over time. There is a door beyond, and there is what looks like a small keyhole.
I turn around and I go and I grab a stone from
Any
the
stone?
circle.
Okay. As you pull one of the stones away, all of a sudden the lights in all three of the stones go out. The elvish is still, it seems painted on the elvish, but the runes themselves go
In
out.
white.
Um,
Doesn't
probably
matter,
at
I
one
guess.
point. It's hard to tell
Faded.
whether it was either yellow or green. Elements of the grass have rubbed over it, and so that might have rubbed off of it. But it's paint for sure.
I go and I drop it in a gap in the circle. Is there a gap in the circle? The circle in the.
There's- I mean, it's just a circle of grass and other plants.
No, in the other room.
Oh yeah, there's gaps where the paint's missing.
Okay, I'm gonna go put one in the gap of paint missing.
Put it right down on the
and
ground.
Just like immediately, I'm just like methodically going and I'm collecting all the stones
Okay.
one by one. and putting
Morwen, as you see Heinrich bringing these stones in, each one has a word on it written in Elvish. You are unfamiliar on what order any of these stones were in. However, you see the words red, catch, and earth.
I'll say that out loud. I'll tell them.
What do you say?
These stones, from what I can.
What was the first one that I put down then? Because you would have seen me put the first one down. I'm like, oh, sorry. Maybe these were important in a certain order. What was this one? I point to the one that I put them down first.
Red.
And
I said them in the
and
order
then
that
the
you
one
put
that
them
I'm
down.
carrying. Which
Is it the second or the last one?
Because at
Uh,
this point, I think she would have noticed.
Red, Earth, and Catch was the
So
order. that
Earth
you
is
put
the
them
second one I picked up, I guess.
down. Sure.
Okay.
Earth.
And I put that one down in the same order, clockwise.
I think
And then I'm like,
going to the next
okay. When I go and I grab the last one, and I pick it up, and I go and I put it down in
Is
like
it?
equidistant like thirds,
Did you
basically.
enter the room? Are you just walking across?
Yeah, I think I'm like
Okay.
looking around. I don't see anything. I think I'm like gonna take a look at the keyhole that I saw.
Sure, Gunter. As you walk in and you
Go in
step
the door.
into that circle, the door behind you slams shut, sealing you and Heinrich within the room.
I have the third stone.
Jeez.
Huh?
I have the third stone in my hand.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And I put
Um,
it down in the spot.
Ah,
So while you're walking
don't.
into the door, I'm
Same
like,
order.
In fact.
catch!
So, I need Gunter to make a dexterity
Cats
check.
and thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you
When
step into this
Chad
circle,
thinks.
the door slams.
19.
Okay.
Nothing
The door
happens.
slams shut, and you hear like a ding up. And as you look down, you see a little
Sad
gleaming
Chad.
piece of metal, just end over end.
But sad is not
You
Chad.
reach and it slips between your
Chad is
hands,
not
and all of a
bad.
sudden, a much larger door, clang, slams open, and sand begins pouring into the
Oh,
room.
jeez.
Whatever that little metallic thing is buried within the sand.
I missed it with a 19.
You did miss it with the 19.
Oh my god. What?
If you had readied yourself to catch something, you would have had advantage on it. However, you didn't. So,
Ah, the key! We gotta get the key!
yeah, this is rapidly filling up with sand. Looking around at a quick glance, you're probably looking at something like. You're looking at something like less than a minute.
Wait.
Can I hear
Yeah, dude,
from right
totally.
outside the
You're
door?
familiar with it.
Like,
You hear
No, just go right ahead.
sand
can I
hitting
assume?
stone.
Okay, so
I
can
can't
assume,
imagine that
like,
wouldn't work
they're in
exactly
danger.
how we were
Yeah, you can
Um,
definitely
yeah.
assume that they're in danger.
So
Alright.
I'm gonna turn
I'm
this
gonna
over real
cast
quick.
this.
Oh.
No, just say it.
Yeah.
We have a solution already.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So-
he's familiar with it in the sense of like gleaning
saw it
something in the
fall.
rough area that
And
it's
I'm
in.
like, I need that key.
This is something I can locate a specific object known to you as
Yeah.
long as you have seen it up close, within 30 feet
Oh,
at
locate
least
object?
once.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you know what it's like, right?
You do
That's
not
close
know what
enough.
it is like.
Yeah, but like a gleaming object that fell really close to his feet that isn't even completely yet
But we also
covered
have
by sand.
But also on.
Make an
sorry.
intelligence check.
Because I'm describing what
Make an intelligence check.
And I'm gonna give him advantage by saying like that thing you just saw. Where is it? Where is it? Can I?
Yeah, by
It's not gonna
saying
help his
that?
intelligence.
No.
That was a 9.
You need a guidance butt tap.
As you cast locate object, you do not see anything.
Like, where's the key?
Well, what's the point of burning a spell slot if it doesn't work?
That's a great point.
Ugh. All right, I cast.
Alright, well then I'm
Well,
gonna
can I-
start
can I-
going
can
on
I
my
continue
hands
with
and
what I was
knees
saying?
looking for
What are you
the
doing?
key.
Okay, so while I'm on the other side and can hear that they're clearly in danger, I'm gonna quickly tell Thistle, like, take care of the pig, just elvish, calming, hug it, you know what to do. And then I'm going to start trying to. Oh, actually, so I saw them pull the rocks from here.
Correct.
Right? That
Yep.
spoke Elvish. That
Had Elvish on them.
I'm gonna try to like frantically read them and see if there's like a solution.
There's
stones
no,
are all gone.
They're
They're
all
in
in
the
my
other
room.
room.
Oh, you took all of them.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh,
it
then
says-
I'll start
When I placed the last
frantically
one, did that
trying
not
to
help
figure
anything?
out some kind
Didn't do
of way to
anything.
open this door.
I mean, the
As
handle
long as you
should still
can
be there, right?
describe it.
Is there a
Yeah.
handle?
It's if
Did
you're
I
like
fucking miss that?
locating a
'Cause it was on the
specific
pig.
object.
A particular kind.
Huh?
Okay.
They pulled the wheel off the pig.
Okay. With that, what I will
Open
say is
it.
you do see, like,
So
at
if
your
I-
feet, a fairly
The wheel should still be
dim
there.
glow
So if I
beneath the
pulled it
sand. It's
off-
rapidly filling.
I'm starting to dig
Or
for that
try to
glow.
see
I also
Yeah.
go and help him dig because
So
I see
something with
him
the wheel.
frantically, and I'm
Something
like,
with
I
the
know
wheel.
this is a trap.
Try.
Flat roll, make an investigation check.
14
is,
plus
14?
2.
You
16.
dig around, and at first you don't seem to notice anything. Frantically, as you dig, it seems like more sand is filling the space. Suddenly, Heinrich, you see just this brief glint pass as like sand gets swept away.
Yeah.
You point it out, and Gunter, you grab in and pull out a brass key. The sand is still filling very quickly.
Quick! And I like
It's at this
I'm
point
like
about
carrying,
2 feet.
We're
deep.
both like
So-
cover like I'm like pulling him and
trying to
myself
get to
over to the door.
Flat
keyhole.
athletics check. One of you guys can make it.
On the
you
other
better.
side,
Yeah.
remembering that this was triggered by the wheel, I'm gonna start fucking around with the wheel. Like I'm gonna try to be
I'm like-
try to spin
okay.
it open
So-
or
so
something.
Wheel does not turn.
and
to just-
ask for Shay for help because I'm not strong.
So you, what
Or
are you doing?
pull it
Shay's not
off.
near you.
Shay's not in the room.
Oh my god!
So to describe this, I'm
This-
like pulling
no, he's
Gunter
helping
with
the
the
pig.
key in his
Oh,
hand.
Mark.
I'm ahead of him, but he is behind me and he rolled.
Thistles with the pig.
Not bad.
It's not worth
You
it.
drag through, and as the sand, like you
Jesus
go
Christ,
underneath where
the
the sand is
pig.
pouring in.
Yeah.
Their
It's not
lives aren't
just
worth the
flat
pig.
sand.
Is
I mean,
it
it's
really
chunks
worth
of
it?
sand.
Yeah.
Elements of
Yeah.
rainwater have
I'm just like,
hardened
give me
it.
the key, give me the key, because I feel like I could probably.
Gunter takes a wet, like chunk of sand to the face and is like almost knocked to the
Just
side.
like, give me the key!
Hand it off, guys.
And I pass it over with the guidance and I try to like reach for the key, the whole key.
Sure. Without too much trouble, you are now close enough. You just jam this
And then
thing
turn
in.
it.
The second that you turn it, that trap door
Yeah.
back up and it slams shut. You see like sand like fire out,
It's like-
squeezed between the cracks.
Yeah.
And it just like scatters across. You hear elements of it hitting the wood, and suddenly you hear these 3 shutters open and the sand begins to drain
Okay.
from the room.
That was
Thanks
a
for your
close
fucking spell, dude.
The door itself rises open,
Okay.
not requiring any kind of wheel.
Cool.
The door that you do, all of a sudden the wheel says like in your hands, and the door like 20 inches up.
I look back
I'm gonna-
and like kind of mirroring
You're
what Gunter
welcome,
would say.
guys.
Mirroring
Damn.
what Gunter would say, be like, "We got this."
Yeah, we're good. Let's go.
And the sand like swirling around you now, draining into
Yeah.
the floor.
Get those stones on your way out, and I just like walk into the next room to like see what's up.
I'm not your
Checks?
slave. You can at least say please.
Because that would be intense.
Chop,
What?
chop.
Strength checks? Because that would be intense.
Yeah.
Because of the way they just spoke to me, I don't pick up the rocks.
Okay. It's worth noting that as the sand drains away, there are no rocks. They seem to have gone into the
Good.
drains.
Well, whatever. We know what the words said, right? You remember what they said, yeah?
Maybe.
I'm
What
going
did they say?
to.
Do you actually remember what they said?
Yes.
What did they say?
It is worth noting that you never really mentioned which rock you picked up. You're not 100% sure which rock said which thing.
The second
speak-
one is the one that I
am
picked
gonna
up and
write it
asked her
down.
what they said in order. So
Mm-hmm.
by logic of deduction, I could figure out the first, the second, the third.
You never specified.
I
In the future,
I picked
would,
up the second one and I
Okay.
asked her
when
what
they're
it
in a
was.
circle. It's hard
Yeah.
to say the second one because they
Well,
don't
'cause-
seem to start or stop at any particular point. I know what the first one is.
Yeah, yeah.
In the future, I would say I pick up the north stone, the west stone, the south stone,
Well,
something like
the
that.
maps I'm
way
assuming
to-
aren't oriented, but okay.
some way.
Fine.
But for
fine,
now,
fine,
I will say it's
fine. Sure, sure.
You guys know that the north stone
Oh, the last one.
said catch, the east stone said red,
Mhm.
and the south stone said earth.
Okay.
All right, let's move on.
You got that, Allie?
Into the next room.
North red,
I'm gonna go through
east
the door
catch.
that's open.
What are you
South,
doing, Shay?
Whatever the last one was.
I am
Catch.
waiting.
No.
Okay, we still wait.
Decidedly.
Red, earth,
The
catch.
floor transitions once more
All right.
to packed
In
dirt.
the north.
Although scattered about seemingly at
North, east,
random
south.
are a variety of different sized and
Yeah.
heighted tables, all square. Some low to the ground, some almost chest height to Morwin and you,
What are these?
and Shay.
Pillars?
Tables.
They all have clay pots, each painted a different color.
Mm.
In the center of this, there is what looks like a metal series of like hexagons that have been stacked up on top of each other. You can see like some kind of a mush that's emerging from the seams on the other side. You can't quite make out what it is. At this point, that's all you can see.
Move
I-
us into position.
I think I'm looking for the red because I'm like, oh, red. This. The rocks must be the rooms. Catch. We caught the key.
Pot.
Red. We gotta get the red pot.
Okay.
and
Which,
then
looking around, you now
earth.
see it kind of on the far side of the room.
I'm gonna go smash it.
Wait.
Okay. As
Wait.
you step
Oh my
into
God.
this this
oh
room,
my god, no.
Will you-
we need
why
to
don't
see.
you hear for the first time this kind of dim zzz, and you see from this stack of metal hexagons
I back out of the
that mush
room.
from the other side was probably honey, crystallized.
I
and
back out of the
growing
room like immediately.
Bees begin to swarm.
I back out.
Wait, should I bring out my
Dexterity
honey
saving
time
throws?
bucket?
Oh my god.
16.
Oh yeah, that's a success. So you take 1 point of piercing damage.
Ah, the bees! Ah!
Are you sprinting through the room?
The Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I think I'm
Oh,
gonna go
the
try
nurse's
to
pain
break
scale.
the red.
The nurse's pain
Okay,
scale.
Heinrich, you back out of the
5
room.
is bees with a question mark. 6 is bees with an exclamation.
You take another. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Talon called you out for just not involving
You take
yourself.
6 points of piercing
That's fine.
damage.
I don't
Oh,
They
bees!
begin now. They're like swarming
I'm
around
smarter
you.
than all of you.
Yeah.
You
By
being
not
in-
completing this, we will all die.
Okay, wait a second.
Gunter, you take an additional 2 points of piercing damage.
I'm out of this room. I'm
She's
out.
the most perceptive out of all of us. I mean,
Gunter, at this
she
point,
can
the
see it's a
bees.
fucking
Well, she
trap.
walked in here, so she's
No, I
just
did
as
not.
dumb as all of us.
I did not.
You were in this
No.
whole
No,
temple.
she's not.
I'm in the temple.
Gunter, you
Yeah,
took another
so
6
you're
points
just
of
as
piercing
dumb as
damage.
all of us.
Bees!
All right, I walk
Gunter.
in. I walk in and I cast Shatter
Okay, on what?
on Gunter to kill all the bees and hopefully not Gunter.
It's an interesting idea.
What?
What is the?
It's an area effect, so like
Yeah.
Wait, but I might
Okay.
die.
But you probably will. It's fine.
I think
You
Heinrich.
Okay.
about to shatter me to death? Wait.
yeah. I mean, I make cast.
I don't know if that's.
Each creature within a 10-foot sphere centered on the point must make a Constitution saving throw. What is the spell DC?
I wish I had like precise casting, which is a really great effect because I can exclude people from area effects if I wanted to. But I don't have that, so the DC is 16.
Okay, they fail. So that's
But Constitution, and he's a dwarf. So.
Ah! That's not good!
Oh no, it's 5d8. If you're unconscious, I can stabilize you at least.
Yeah, that's a 10. I definitely got.
I also shatter
Okay,
every
so wait.
fucking pot in a 10-foot
5d8.
radius.
5d8.
I mean, no one else is here to help, so like, fuck you guys. This is my best plan.
5d8.
yeah, and within that radius is the clay pot, and you see shards of pottery rain across the floor. It makes
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
a really nice sound as it just tingles across,
borrow your
mixed with the
D8s?
humming
Well,
of
I do
bees.
the damage.
You're doing the
You
damage?
also see
Take
just
those
like
two
radiating out from this explosion,
Yeah.
bees just pulverizing in the
Yeah,
air.
yeah, just like
D8s.
like
Little elements of fur just like floating off, like it's just it's like popcorn.
yeah, yeah.
Um, You also see a little key
You know,
from that red
it's
pot
just
just
Yeah.
jingle onto the ground.
Okay, cool.
You know what?
Do I not have to roll
What do you-
damage?
what
That's
do you
cool.
want?
If I don't, if I
No,
don't
roll
do-
damage.
2d8s.
Oh.
Roll
Because
damage.
like I don't want to kill Gunter, but I wanted to save
I'm
him. This
rolling.
seems
Roll
You
damage.
need one.
There's a couple
Okay.
things that it's
Miles
going to
needs
Okay.
2 more.
And I need one of Shay's d8s.
Is that a D8? Did I check
Yeah.
you the right thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to kill you. All the bees are already dead.
You
So.
might.
Right, I
5d8s.
Oh, good. That's 2 1s. Okay, so 1, 2, 5.
Yeah, my dice are
That's
gonna roll
15.
well for
That's
you.
15.
That's
Are
15.
Are you serious?
15 bludgeoning. No, sorry,
Gunter, all
15
of a
thunder
sudden,
damage. Thunder damage if it matters
hear
for his god.
This kind of like
Oh, it does.
you
Or is
hear
it
like
necrotic?
a whine, and then there's like a crack.
That emanates from your
feel it.
chest,
You
your,
feel
your
really
teeth,
bad
your
now.
skull, your
Okay, I
ears.
did it.
Yeah, you feel your teeth rattle within your
that's
skull.
My
You take
tooth.
15 points of damage. You see bees pulverizing around you. There's like shards of pottery striking you in the face. And in this entire commotion, you hear ringing in your ears quite loudly. And so you don't hear it at first, but Heinrich, you hear this kind of buzz begin again coming from
but, like-
the hive itself.
Daily, even without the bees.
Where's the
dude.
hive? What hive?
Have I reached?
This hexagonal stacked structure appears to be an
That's what I
artificial
hear someone
beehive.
say my name,
Ah.
but I don't
Have I
know.
reached
Honestly.
the red pot
He's
yet?
totally within
The red
10
pot
feet.
is annihilated.
10 foot radius, yeah?
Yes,
Is there
That
anything
includes
where
that
the-
from where you stand.
that is correct. However,
Yeah.
it has a certain number of hit points,
Oh,
as does
okay.
the key that you are currently holding most of.
I got you.
Is there
The key shattered?
Or sorry, the key is damaged. Yes.
Is
Okay,
there,
but it's not broken.
No.
Okay.
Is there a piece of
I got the key
everything
then.
that like where the pot was? Can I like
You rush
see
over,
anything that's,
still
like,
disoriented. Make an
useful?
investigation check.
And as he's doing that, I just attack it with my sword.
What?
The hive.
Okay, make an attack roll.
That's a 15.
Okay.
That's a 19.
Okay.
Wait, no, sorry. It's a lot. It's like a
Well,
20.
Are you good?
You don't find the key.
If
So
you
it's
want to pour me
28.
another one, I
28.
would
Yeah,
say
you
no.
hit.
Yeah.
Roll damage.
6.
Would you grab
4, 10,
something
16.
about all flavors you like?
16?
And also
Yeah, it's
attack
all
again
together.
because of Thirsting Blade.
Sure. Yeah.
So 1.
Roll
Undo the
advantage
damage.
because it's it's a stationary.
Oh, okay. Well,
object.
that's another 20. So 19 plus 9. So
Roll
28
damage.
again.
Nice.
Oh, no. 9.
That's enough.
Okay.
You swing it down, and
just
already
like,
from like this, yes,
twisted
And then
it's
teeth in there,
already
it's fine.
damaged.
Bring it like level across it, kind of.
And you just cleave it into 4 sections that just split open.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, no bees come out.
Sure.
And you do see this kind of yellowish rune just go dead.
Okay.
And the 1 or 2 bees that had escaped suddenly blink out of existence. As far as you can tell, the room is safe.
Okay, cool. And I have the key.
You have the key.
Okay.
It's scattered across. You picked it up.
Gunter.
You see Gunter just digging through shards of pottery.
Gunter, I'm sorry. Can you mend this? I don't want to use it. I damaged it. It's
You
the
hear
key.
Gunter, because your hearing is not returned yet.
And I just like
I'm gonna be
Thanks.
that's fine. We've smacked each other so many times. I'm just like
Fair enough.
I nod as like a fair enough.
I'm gonna mend it and be like, I can't hear anything!
But as he does that, you see his old fist
Just like
tense up,
glow.
and the key just kind of straightens out elements of the ripped metal binding back together. You hold in your hand a key.
I'm gonna go to the door and
Like while
put it in and be like,
Yeah, you're like extra shaky now, and
19 health now.
you're like
you might want to heal yourself.
you're like a
I
drunk.
saved you from more damage.
Oh, it's worth noting also, Gunter would have taken a substantial less amount of damage if I could have gotten
Hey,
any
whatever.
words out.
Hey, whatever.
whatsoever.
Panic moment.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Thanks for giving
It's
me
a
like,
fucking
an
panic.
extra-
Hey, you did more damage yourself with that spike than I did by not even involving
I know,
myself with
that
you
was
impaling
pretty-
yourself in the water.
This whole temple has nearly killed Gunter.
Gunter
It's
pushing in, you witness a
He's
similar
really the chosen one.
beautiful
Cord.
face circle, verdant grass, and beautiful toadstools emerging from the hard ground. Similar stones to the ones you saw before, though these bear no elvish writing. There are a few fireflies that blink around a large dead seeming tree.
I
See
think
packed earth and stone walls beyond.
Where's Morwen? What was the last word? Earth?
yeah.
Dig it out.
Yeah, first I'm gonna heal
Yeah, it's probably a good
a little bit. 5
idea. Without
times.
entering the room or entering the
As I'm entering, I'm like, ugh,
Smack yourself in the chest.
walk it off, Gunty.
room?
And so Gunty
And
walks
then your
it off
eyes
to the
narrow
best
just
of
a
his
little bit
ability.
so they're almost pointing
I'm
forward
gonna-
again.
Uh,
Your eyes are your health bar. The wider they are, the closer you are to death. It's
That's
like,
like,
oh,
that's
okay.
like Waluigi. What are you casting?
I'm using one of my channel divinities, Preserve Life, so I can heal up to 35 between
I don't need it.
anyone within 30 feet.
Which is just you and I don't
Which
need
is
it.
just me. So
All right, so you just dump. How do you do it? What does like the channel divinity look like?
just walk it off, Gunty.
And as Gunty
little
rubs himself,
sensual.
there is this kind of like very
I
very
can only go up
faint
to half with it, so
blue white light that just
Spreads
emanates from
it.
his hands and kind of leaves like a little trail on his chest that fades very quickly.
so I'm at half health now.
You heal yourself up. What are you guys doing?
Skunk! I
I
smell
I'm
that.
going
You guys
into
smell
the
that?
room.
if you're looking at me, I am going to fashion with my rope a little harness
Mhm.
for the pig,
Okay.
and not like just a neck
You
harness.
looking at
Like
the
a
pig now that this is
non-choking, like
passed,
around the shoulders. harness.
Thistle is like very gently holding the pig, and the pig is sleeping in his arms, and he's just petting it.
All right. But I may need Thistle's strength, so I'm gonna be like, Thistle, let's just, and I'm gonna tie like a very delicate around the legs, like
He holds the pig out like a baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Where like
Yeah,
you tie
it's
around
like
the
a
legs
shoulders
and you do
harness.
like a in the center kind of leash,
Yeah, it's the
opposed to
same-
just like a neck.
Yeah, you guys,
Yeah.
you're making like
A
a harness.
harness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Make
my
a make a performance.
Dex,
make a
sleight of
dex.
hand.
No, it's gonna be just
Right?
dex. wouldn't
I
call it
am good
sleight
at
of
knots
hand.
though. Remember,
You are. So roll at advantage.
natural 20.
Natural
Oh
20.
my god, yeah.
You
This is your fucking
create
thing now.
these loops of string that have these kind of adjustable almost
That are
knots
comfortable.
that are incredibly comfortable, and the way that you wrap it around, it doesn't put stress on any one place. It very evenly balances out the weight of this pig, and you're even able to fashion it so that if you wanted, somebody could wear it kind of like a backpack,
Cute.
like
All
a
right.
papoose.
I'm gonna give the rope to Thistle and just say like, I'm gonna investigate the situation here, but please
Thistle
take care of
pulls
the
it
pig.
on so that the pig is in front of him like one of those baby carriers. He just kind of is petting it absently. All right.
I take a step back and I'm like, And I do like
Draw
a
a picture to last
a little
longer.
bit of a cry because it's so adorable. And I'm gonna see what these dudes are up to.
Okay, you enter the room.
No,
You're
Don't
entering.
do a cry.
You're entering the room itself.
Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, I'm.
Okay.
So I've been here, so I'll check out this.
Okay, and it's lots of like elements of stone that slope down into it looks like grates. You can see like the last bits of sand, tiny grains rolling into this drain. You see a painted circle, not much else.
Painted circle.
Yeah, you see elements of a circle that was painted at some point, although most of the paint is scraped away.
So also now that I'm aware that there's like Elvish writing around here, I'm going to specifically be looking for that.
Sure, yeah. Make a perception check.
Passive is 13.
Okay, you don't notice any.
All right, I'll step into the next room.
And in the next room, you see just pottery, elements of it like embedded into the wall itself, shards of it. There's broken tables. There is like a ruined metallic sculpture. You see beyond that Gunter and Heinrich in a doorway.
I stink.
You what?
Have they-
Okay.
do they
good,
know I'm
good.
there?
No, they do not. You can go snuck if you would like.
13.
Okay. Kind of crouch down a little bit.
Just get right up behind them.
Do anything else? Still staying in the hallway?
Stay in the hallway.
Okay.
Waiting.
I'm gonna go in to the room and
Perception check, please.
and look around for like anything that looks like I should dig, because
25.
it was like
Okay.
start digging.
25? Probably just thunder. As you take a step into the room,
That's it.
there is this sort of
So dramatic. It's just
like a,
thunder.
and you see bits of bark kind of rise up, and two massive eyes within the
It's
tree
going crazy.
regard you.
Yeah.
Oh hey, didn't know anyone was in here. Sorry. What's going on?
It blinks
hey
its
guys,
large eyes
hey,
twice
hey
more.
friend, you might
You're
want
up.
to hurry up.
You're not in the room.
I'm
You
not,
gotta
but I'm
shout louder
shouting
than
in.
that.
Yeah, nobody hears you.
Yeah.
Even
It's your
Ovark?
own fucking fault too.
Ovark?
Involve
I
yourself
mean,
if you
Ovark,
want.
why?
At
She's
this
right
point,
outside the door.
Ovark is probably
Sorry, I'm
following
speaking
you
for
guys
you. I
in
just-
because he's acting as like a rear guard at this point.
Great.
Yeah, he does not hear.
Great.
He kind of
I
blinks
guess
a
we
couple
carry on.
times, elements of bark like flaking away from his eyes. Creatures, of meat and skin. Creatures.
Meat and skin.
Shall it riddle begin?
Riddles? Sure. Yeah, sounds great. And when he says that, I'm gonna enhance ability, give myself some. Ooh,
Owl's wisdom.
Owl's wisdom or fox's cunning? Probably owl's wisdom.
Fox's cunning, maybe. I don't know. What are the two different skill checks that it boosts?
Well, when you hear this,
Or are they
it's
saving
old
throws?
voice.
I am very engaged. I am
Okay.
getting straight up in there.
Yeah, so you enter. You see what looks like a
Yeah,
face
that's
in
the
a
most annoying
tree.
spell because it doesn't tell you
Its
what it
features
gives you.
carved from the bark itself, but the eyes shift over and look at you, and then turn back to Gunter.
Cunning is wisdom.
Hello.
Owl is intelligence. I'm pretty
So
sure.
as again, kind of shift over, and they wrinkle as if
Ah,
they
that's
smile,
right.
kind of, but then turn back to Gunter.
So probably wisdom.
Well, in that slight second,
Yeah,
I'm
'cause you
gonna
don't-
smile like
you
the
didn't
second
study
before he
it to know
turns.
it, so
You
you
know, when you're
intuit
just
it.
like when you're waving
So,
high,
Yeah.
and right when someone looks
Oh
away.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah, you get the sense he doesn't
That's
see
the
it.
smile
He
that I
doesn't
did.
see it,
I'm
yeah.
enhancing my wisdom,
Okay.
so I get advantage on wisdom checks.
Fantastic.
And I'm gonna be like, yeah, sure, riddles, great, sounds good. You gonna give us that ball after? Yeah.
The ball you speak of I do not know, but let me say this riddle though. I always travel but never walk, sometimes wind but never bind. You may take me, but I am never bound to thee. What am I?
I lean over.
It's a road.
I'm
That's
gonna,
a road. You're talking about roads, aren't you?
Aha, so good, I give praise, so a second I shall raise.
Oh, there's more.
In front of you, me you'll find, though without searching to me you're blind. I see that your eyes see not, though sometimes you might wish I'd stop.
What am I?
I'm gonna just.
And you
force
see its
my- I'm
eyes
gonna
kind of
force
wrinkle
myself
up. It
into
seems
this-
very pleased with this.
Could you repeat the riddle?
Say it in a sentence. Can you use it in a sentence?
What's the language of
No, I
origin?
don't say that.
No,
I don't say that.
Morwen should
Can
not be
I
a part of this
repeat?
at all.
I'm forcing myself into
Sadly,
it. I'm in this
no.
room, so deal with it.
So your answer, give it. Go.
I'm forcing myself in this huddle.
Is it time?
That's your answer?
Yeah.
There's this low rumble of thunder. And for the first time, you see these eyes shift around nervously. Answer wrong one
He meant,
times
is it
three,
time to give the answer?
and witness the danger of the Feywild to thee. Mark my words and mark them well. Answer me wrong, and he'll come for you.
That didn't rhyme. I get extra points for that.
Mark my words and mark them true. Answer me wrong, and he'll come for you. Is what it was.
All right. Well, one and one. Give me your riddles, riddle master.
I've spoken the riddle, and you'll find you quickly run out of time.
Oh, it's the same riddle. Okay.
What was the riddle again? Just to be honest, like
In
'cause
front of you,
if this is
me you'll find, though without searching, to me you're blind. I see that your eyes see not, though sometimes you might wish I'd stop. What am I?
The sun.
You feel the rumble
that was
louder now.
that was not. It's
Shay,
not time
you
related.
hear thunder almost, but it's not thunder. You hear pounding. Large fists on a door
From the direction in the room or behind us?
somewhere beyond the sealed door within the Great Hall.
Oh boy. We gotta get one right here.
May I
Someone
request, like, rolling an intelligence check to figure this out?
that,
Sure.
one of the guys watching it just said a mirror. And they're like, yeah, that's the answer to every fucking riddle in D&D.
Oh. That's a 4.
You have no idea. This is a difficult riddle.
He's a tree.
Yes.
I claim the tree.
You see his eyes shift as Morwen ascends this creature, but he doesn't seem to respond.
I
His
whisper,
eyes go back to
I
you,
whisper
but
like,
they keep kind of
"Can you see
flickering up.
this?"
You can't really whisper to me because I'm away from you. Sorry.
Just like, can you see this?
No, you didn't want me to be a part of it. That's what you said. So
Yeah,
I
but you
climbed
just-
up the tree.
I'm trying to think.
Can you see the sphere?
You only get one more guess, Gunty.
I am going
Gunty
to
definitely knows
investigate
what
from
this
the
is.
heights of this tree.
Can I make like an insight check? Does anything resonate with
One
me?
more time, I just want to
I
hear
mean,
it. I just
I
like,
did-
I need.
In
I
front
rolled
of you,
for
me
intelligence
you'll
to figure out
find,
this riddle,
though
if that
without
helps you at all,
searching,
Matt.
to me you are blind. I see that your eyes see not, though sometimes you might wish I'd stop.
I can't.
It's something about like
Not as an
senses,
answer.
like perception or whatever.
Or is Heinrich saying that out
No,
loud?
no. It's this is all like,
Joe, while they're figuring that out, may I climb to the highest part of this tree
Yeah.
to see the
Yeah,
whole
go
room?
up about 13 feet. Looking around through the room, you see a lot of what I've described. You do see beyond the tree now, very similar, this
Use your
kind of
L's kind of
stone
like
lines
key
or
on
stone
keywords, the
pieces
ones
that have
that
been
you
laid
would-
into the ground. Putting two and
The
two
words
together,
that
you're
stick the
imagining
most out
these
of
will
this
become
puzzle.
stairs that will then go to
Because
the
riddles are always
first
about positive,
Do I
negatives,
see
and
them
cancellation
being
and
very
stuff.
puzzled
so,
at
like,
the bottom?
Yes.
see if
All
I'll
right,
give you a roll.
then I'm going to chill for a hot
Seriously.
minute, eat a portion, and think,
No, but like which
Idiots.
words stick out the
Okay.
most? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You begin to eat, just kind of laughing to yourself.
Is there anything that would key me in on like
I said portions, but I
a
meant
certain
rations,
part
obviously.
of the phrasing that would be
Intelligence
like,
check.
Or like what
Oh, I should have
words?
done Fox's cunning.
That's what I was saying. Oh, still not bad.
13.
You think back, oh man, I mean, you think back just to all the things that you kind of wish had stopped today.
I'm going to think to myself an answer.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to do with it, but
I want you to tell me if I'm right.
okay, I'll tell you after.
And if I'm not right, give me kudos for it. But I wish it would stop, right?
We'll find out.
Alright. Oh, you didn't even laugh?
I'm really good at that.
Was it kind of funny though?
Hilarious.
Thank you. I don't believe you,
I don't know.
but I'll take
No,
it.
it was really funny. It was really hard not to laugh. I worked really hard at it.
Did you see what I wrote?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. I'll write it again.
But I'm stumped.
Ah, nice.
You see the eyes wrinkle a little bit as if it finds this funny as well.
Am I wrong?
No, you're very right. You're very right.
Can I get a hint?
You ask it for a hint?
Yeah.
Very sad, but a hint I may not give. Please give your answer if you want to live. Shay, you hear the pounding get louder.
Guys.
Can I
No response?
Enemies?
That's what you say?
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
There is this, you hear it first, this shatter as something breaks a door perhaps on the other side of the door that you can see. You both hear this, and you see the tree look up and just go, oh fuck. And the eyes shift down and it is again a tree.
Oh,
Shay,
fuck.
from far off somewhere, you hear lumbering footsteps, not like the Ettins.
Guys!
And you hear water.
Definitely don't hear you.
Tina's strength on this table though?
And it is 11:58. So that is where we're going to end for this evening.
Alright.
Alright.
Thank you guys who stuck around through our early technical difficulties for this particular session. Also, guys, really awesome. You made your way through. The answer was a nose.
A nose!
Why
In
would a
front of
nose
me, you'll
stop?
find, though without searching, to me you're blind, because you cannot see your nose unless you actively search for
You
it.
can't what?
You can't see your nose. Your eyes filter it out automatically. It's always in front of you. You
No,
can see
but
it
not
if you look
that.
down.
Not that. More like, why would you want it to stop?
What, did I want to stop?
Why would you want your nose to stop?
I see that your eyes see not, though sometimes you might wish I'd stop.
Yeah. Why would you?
Your
Because
nose
when
can
we
scent
walked
things that
in
you
this
can't
room,
see, but
too.
sometimes you wish
Oh.
you can't. And you, having just been through this horrible smell,
Mhm.
was sort of hoping that you guys would be clued into that.
Nope. Not even close.
However-
Too hard.
Yeah, because the smell
Too
is not a
hard.
big
Shut
deal
up.
for
No,
Grover. He was just
definitely.
like,
No.
smells like sour feet. Alright.
It's your own.
The tree also
He's
gave
used
you
to
the
smells.
answer. Because he said in one of his clues that it's something that no, I can't remember how I said it, but I gave you the answer. And then I also, to you, made eye contact and said, Gunter knows what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Miles, just
So-
because you didn't get it doesn't mean it's too hard.
Yeah. But
in
just
all
because you like
fairness.
gave it to us doesn't mean that it was fair.
Anyway.
We're going to have to see what happens as a result of that particular failure. You guys
I
did make
call-
it through 3 out of
Stop.
4
I
rooms.
call bullshit, but okay.
And got
Because
the
you didn't
first
get it.
riddle
Because you
right.
didn't get
I
it.
did.
The first riddle was easy.
And I also
That's
gave
true.
you guys the answer to the third riddle, the
Yeah.
last riddle. But
Well, we didn't even see that.
that
so
is what it
doesn't
is. Anyway, so thank you guys very much for joining us. We will be back next week for a one-shot entitled Feud, where Tina, Matt, my friend Hisham, who you guys do not know but will meet, and possibly one other person will be playing a one-shot set in 5th edition, actually very technically set in Farshore.
matter. Yay.
The following week, we'll be back for Adventures in Alberon, episode 11, The Trials of Cord, part 3.
Where we'll die.
Potentially, it's not looking great.
Maybe
for the
you'll
finger
die, I
beats.
won't.
It's
Yeah,
about 3:30 in the morning. You guys haven't taken a long rest yet, so
Yeah.
It's been a while.
we're gonna end there. Thank you guys very much for joining us,
Yay,
and we'll see you
bye.
later.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Oh God.
If you have depression and anxiety.
Yeah, if you're suffering from depression.